Welcome everybody to another episode of the Heel Heat. We got the champ, we got Mr. No Money in the Bank, and Mr. Mike.
Ooh, ooh.
This
I
is
did not even see that one. That felt personal. Damn.
This is a review of Money in the Bank plus the Raw afterwards and the Smackdown afterwards. So we're gonna go after all this. You all right, Jay?
I'm sharing it to the group. Y'all gonna see what I just.
Okay. Yeah, we here live. We always in the keep up pulse to whatever news is coming out on sports on everywhere. So there's a lot going on. So if you haven't seen it, follow our pages and you'll probably see it popping up. All right. Money in the Bank 2021. Mixed reviews. We'll get into it all real quick though. What are your thoughts on one shot? Like what you thought about the pay-per-view before we get into it and dissecting it?
To be honest, I'm on the more positive side. My issues with the pay-per-view lie in the fact that Bianca Belair had her match knocked off of it, and the fact that Peacock decided to completely screw Pooch during the show.
Oh yeah. So here's what I heard. So it was only the Peacock stream that had an issue,
right?
In the U.S.
It wasn't, because the thing is, from what I understand, how they worked it is that the WWE network still exists outside of the US.
Correct.
But what they did is they put the WWE network into Peacock. So it wasn't so they're still operating off of the same thing or whatever. But Peacock started screwing up. And that's what caused the issue.
Yeah.
So everybody that was viewing on the WWE network was fine. And WWE wasn't even aware of it.
Nope.
Because if they were, I don't know what they would have done in the meantime or whatever before,
They got cursed out on Twitter, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, because I was one of the ones cursing them out.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Right.
Oh, me too. Don't get it wrong. I was off. I popped. I don't know how many shots I fired over there at Peacock and WWE.
I was sitting up there because I got to be careful or whatever, because I don't know who's watching as far as, or, on my end when it comes to, like jobs and all kinds of other stuff. So I try not to get too animated on Twitter, but I was hot.
Oh, me too.
I'm sitting up here like, yo, this is your first event back in front of fans, and you guys are actually bringing it tonight to a certain extent. And then you allow this to happen? And for WWE, you dropped $1 billion, or you got $1 billion for this. This is the service? Y'all gotta, y'all gotta do something about this. This is ridiculous.
Not just that. It's like if you're in the US, you're paying an extra tier for no ads.
Yep.
Unlike WWE, it was a one payment. Here, it's like you have two tiers, with ads, without ads. I don't know about y'all. I'm paying that extra tier because I don't want to see ads.
Exactly the same thing. And the funny thing about it is just it's not even that they're charging you, one solid price. That is, it's actually two separate charges.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. It's crazy how they do it, and it's ridiculous because of the fact that you figure NBC is one of the top as far as broadcast stations in this country. They should be able to get this right. And if they couldn't get it right on their own, why did you not follow the model that the WWE network had? Because if you remember correctly, the network had its own issues before this, and then they smoothed it out. After a while, you saw nothing. You may have saw buffering once.
Yeah.
And then that was it. They got everything together. But now, what's happening? Are your servers not good enough, to handle the overload of the random, couple million WWE fans watching it? What exactly do you have a streaming service for?
I think
NBC.
I think somebody in the Peacock truck started playing Call of Duty and plugged into the wrong port.
Either that or John Cena walked in and they didn't see him and he just decided to cut the feed.
It was bad. It was bad. I mean, I was there watching it. I was lucky to get like Big E's entrance. I was like, oh, they fixed it finally. And then they starts glitching again. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no.
and I still haven't gone back and rewatched it.
Oh no, it's fine. No, it's fine.
I'm so hot about it.
It's fine because when they fixed it, I actually paused it and I took it back to watch all the entrances for the guys in the Money in the Bank, and it was smooth and fine.
Okay.
So it's like I think what happens is WWE records on their side, and so they'll post it up because that was my concern too. It was like, damn, if it's glitchy right now, what's the replay going to be like? Is it going to be?
Oh no, that's not even where I was going with. I was just saying I haven't gone back and watched it just because of the fact that I think I'm doing this out of spite just for myself. Is that I haven't gone back and watched it just because everything I've heard from other reviews on it is that the men's Money in the Bank ladder match was probably the best one ever.
It was.
And now I'm sitting up here like, yo,
I wouldn't go that far.
No,
that's a little bit aggressive.
No, I think it was.
That's like I said. That's what I've been hearing.
It's up there, but I don't know about it being the best one.
What are your thoughts?
That's the type of stuff I've been hearing, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I say this pay-per-view started off for me on a down and just kind of progressively got better. That's kind of how I look at it. It was like by the end, I'm like, all right, this was decent enough. But like I only honestly maybe enjoyed 3 matches out of the whole show. And I barely enjoyed those 3. Like the men's Money in the Bank match was good. Roman and Edge's match was good. Hated the Charlotte match. Like I liked the match, I just didn't like the finish. The finish was stupid. I don't even remember the rest of the stupid show, honestly. The women's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, the tag title match, the women's Money in the Bank.
The tag title match was decent. It was like, all right, I see what they're trying to do here. Dom still needs a lot more seasoning, but other than that, like you can see the growth. Like you definitely see the growth. And I'm like, all right, cool. This is cool. The women's Money in the Bank match made me want to punch a wall. Like it was
bad. Especially the ending.
Like I can't begin to be like, and it's like I can't even say, oh, it's because it's the women, because when you turn around and you watch the women War Games match, which arguably is more dangerous, and you see how well, like you can watch the NXT women and it's like the ladder matches, the any of the extreme matches are so good and so well done. And they don't look spotty. They don't look like someone's afraid to get hit by something. They don't try to do these really weird, cheesy spots that never, ever work. Like, it was almost like forcing down that one dinner that you know is supposed to be good for you, but it's terrible and you're trying not to vomit.
It's like you get a well-done filet mignon and you're like, damn it.
It's like trying to eat like chicken heart or something.
You know what I hear right now?
I
hear 9-year-old Jay being force-fed broccoli.
I liked broccoli. It was liver that killed me. I got flashbacks of like eating liver at the dinner table, and I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever had in my life. And I swear to God, when I get older, I'm going to murder anybody who made this possible.
It made no sense.
That was just it hurt to watch. And all the while I'm trying to find the good, and there were some spots that were good, that were decent. But every time I watched it, it just brought me back to Ricochet's tweet about him being the best high flyer in WWE, and it's not close. And someone decides to be like, oh, so you don't think the women are as good as you? I was looking at this like, no, they aren't. They aren't in this.
And we'll talk about it when we go over the men's ladder in the match.
Nah, but it's one of those where this is like, if you're afraid of a ladder, they should be putting you in a ladder match.
Yeah.
Because they wrestle like they're afraid of ladders. And they're trying to be so super safe. And I get it. You're trying to protect everyone. And it's like, what kind of sick person would you want to, watch people have a match and not be protected? I get it. You want to be safe. But this match by nature is not safe. You can only protect yourself and other people so much without making it look like that match did.
I mean, one of Usos tore his ACL in the match, and it wasn't in like a a crazy spot. It just happened.
No, it literally was on a regular ass dive.
Yep.
Hell, Bailey tore her ACL doing like regular chain wrestling, but
Yeah. So it's like you can't protect everything about it without taking away from the quality of the match. Like the ladder strikes were slow. People were like as soon as they, and then it was like they're looking to like 1, 2, 3, and then getting hit with the ladder, and it was like you tried to like the only spot that I can say that was really fucking cool was to see Naomi do the power bomb on top of somebody else on top of the ladder, because you never see Naomi do a power bomb, and I'm like, that's a little Hurt Business bloodliney of you, but okay. Like outside of that spot, like I wanted Liv Morgan to do her fucking finisher to somebody off the ladder. Like I wanted her to just like jump off, catch Selena Vega with the fucking the whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't even know what the fuck she calls it, with the face breaker.
I don't know what that thing is called either.
It's basically the rip coil. It's the rip coil. It's the code breaker. It's all the same move. It's the side. It's basically the code breaker to the side, which is what Ricochet does. So I'm like, they both have the same finisher.
One of the things that I think hurt this match is you put one of your most athletic people in a position where they had to be a power wrestler.
Yeah.
In the sense where you have Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
Naomi is one of the most athletic people on the roster.
On the planet.
But you got people like, you have 3 wrestlers in there that are just 100% smaller than her. You got Alexa Bliss, who's the smallest person on the roster, probably. You got Liv Morgan. You got Nikki. All right. I forgot, honestly.
No. You got another. You got Selena Vega.
Yeah, Zelina Vega. All right. So you got 4 people in there that are certifiably smaller than Naomi. All right. On top of
she can't do any of the moves that she wants to do.
Exactly, unless she's doing it to Natalya or Tamina, in which it's Natalya is just like,
it's just, it don't make sense with Natalya because she's so technically sound, but
right, she's not a spot type wrestler.
No,
she's not a wrestler that's going to be involved in a whole bunch of spots. And then on top of that, I think there was a little too much as far as Natalya and Tamina being foils for everybody else.
Yeah, that shit got annoying after a while. Like at some point, me and my brother were like calling the spots where it's like, and she's about to go up. What? Where's Natalya?
Yep.
Cool, there's Natalya. Okay. Like it became a thing in the match where it's like, where's Natalya? Where's Tamina? Where's Natalya? Where's Tamina?
I think if they spread that out a little bit, where it wasn't just the 2 of them always being the foils, that would have played out a little bit better.
And if they didn't have the smaller women playing like they're just fucking cat wrestlers, like these women can actually wrestle.
That, and I also think in a couple other instances, there wasn't enough of certain people. Yeah. Like Nikki ends up winning, so the focus is on her. However, I can basically recall 3 spots from Nikki in the entire match: her jumping off the ladder, her winning, and her taking Alexa Bliss's finish. Mm-hmm. That's it. And that match was like 40 minutes long. So I don't think there was enough of her.
15 minutes.
And then 2, and maybe I focus too much on people's finishers and their signatures. Mm-hmm. But is it just me, or like ever since she had the character change from Sanity, she's not had a finisher? Because she used to have that twisting fisherman suplex that fucking Elias does as her finisher. Now all of a sudden she's doing a fucking cross body.
Yeah,
that's not even that doesn't even look remotely athletic. It looks like me or you trying to jump into a fucking the little fucking ball things in Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, the ball pit in Chuck E. Cheese. That's what it looks like.
At least do like a dropkick missile or something, bro.
Like I
get it. If you're supposed to be a superhero or something, like
yeah.
If you're supposed to do it, I'm sorry. Then I'd rather you do the flying elbow at this point.
Yeah,
because at least different people can make it look cool. Like you can make it look different based on the character you have.
And no one is really using that move right now. Like Bailey might have it as a setup right now, but her finisher is the Rose Plant.
Right.
Like,
Which is
and I hate that move. But
I hate most of the women's finishers. Literally, they changed Tony Storm's finisher, which looks cool, I guess. I just wasn't expecting it to be her finisher. And when she finished Homegirl with it, I was like, wait, that's it?
Yeah, I don't understand. But
it's like a reverse hip toss face bomb or some shit like that. Anyway. But then, Zelina Vega, you still don't know what the fuck her skill set is whatsoever. The spot with the fucking Alexa Bliss spots, there are a million things you can do with a supernatural character.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Hypnotism without light effects doesn't work. Hypnotism midway through a match doesn't work. Hypnotism where you physically have to get off the ladder, defeating the purpose of being on a ladder in the first place, doesn't work.
I think they messed up on that whole hypnotism stuff. I think she just called it like some kind of mirroring effect at least. Because
still stupid.
I know, but at least you changed it, because the whole point of hypnotism is like you tell the person what to do. But the fact that you have to actually do and then mirror you, it's like you said, it defeats the purpose of the hypnotism. So if they call it some kind of mirroring effect where like that, okay, now it explains why you have to walk down the ladder, because she mirrors you now. So it sounds dumb still, but at least you can like, okay, I get it. I get
worse.
it. I know,
it makes
but
it so much worse.
It sounds better than the damn hypnotism. Like, oh, I hypnotized you, but I have to walk down the ladder so you can walk down the ladder. What?
It would have been a lot better if
we lost a video feed on there, but
my bad. Right. Somebody called me.
It's all right. No worries.
It would have been better. I'll be back, guys.
Yeah, wait, take that call.
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
Yeah. I agree with Jay. The Money in the Bank was like one of those where it was, it started off, the pre-show was good, but then when they started off with the women's match, it was like, and it slowly worked its way up to be good. The ending was great.
The ending was the ending of the show or the women's match?
The ending of the show. I'm saying, I agree with you. The pre-show was good, and I was like, all right, good. And then they messed up because they started with the women's match, and then it was bad.
It also kind of makes it's frustrating to me because I'm like, yo, Natalya and Tamina were so unnecessary for this match. When you have women literally sitting there in the back, like if you're gonna push this Eva Marie Doudrop shit, put Doudrop in the Money in the Bank match so that you have a big person who can take hits and who people like Naomi can take spots off of. Mia Yim is sitting in the back doing absolutely nothing, and she's been a part of heavy matches her entire freaking career. What in the actual dog piss?
Time out for 1 second, because I don't want to skip past the whole Doudrop thing. All right. The mere fact that she wasn't in this match when you had the opportunity to have her in there, and for all of the people that are sitting up there like, oh, well, why are you worried about them changing her name and her character? We don't know who she is anyway. There's your opportunity to find out who she is. Why it is that people were pissed off that Viper, aka Piper Niven, is no longer herself.
Like, bro, anybody who's familiar with her work, like, yo, she is a beast. Like, bro, she can do things that women her size can't. Like, she gives you Nia Jax size with like Tony Storm level wrestling.
She's like she's like Eric from Viking Raiders.
Yes,
Keith Lee
from a female perspective, and I'm like, you put that in a ladder match. That is her and Naomi alone in that ladder match would have made it a certified banger.
Yep.
And then you add in Eva Marie on the outside, and then you possibly have a spot where Eva Marie goes through a fucking ladder, or at least through a table. Like, that makes things interesting. Like, you know how much I would have loved to see Eva Marie try to get on the fucking ladder, and Alexa Bliss sitting at the top of the ladder looks at her, hypnotizes her, and then catches her jumps off and catches her with a tornado DDT off the fucking ladder.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, Eva's not taking that. That would have had that been Piper.
But I'm saying, like,
yeah,
or like somebody just like she tries to come and like she gets super kicked off the fucking ladder or something like that. like something like that. And it's
there
like,
you go. That's
and then
another
you
thing.
have fucking Mia Yim, who's been in some of the most gruesome matches in the wrestling industry, where like this girl can go, like she can go, and then that you can reintroduce her character as the HBIC, and literally set up a feud with her and Bianca going forward because of how similar the characters are. You could have set that up going forward already and had her come out when they announced the whole Liv Morgan thing, have her come out and be like, you know what? Since you giving away spots, me and my girl Bianca got some unfinished business, so you better put me in this match. And then when Sonya Deville tried to get all big, she's like, yo, I will break your face. You know who I am? And then Sonya kind of like cower, like, oh, okay, my bad. Put her in the match. Like, there are so many things you could have done with her, and just to reintroduce her character and then have her go the way she should have gone in this ladder match, she didn't even have to win. But at least it would have made it look like there weren't more than just two winners. Because Doudrop with the Money in the Bank is still interesting.
Right.
You know, Mia Yim basically saying that she's going to come after Bianca Belair, but then could have came after Charlotte later on or something. Or like Charlotte could have had a conversation with Keith Lee in the back, and then that could have sparked Mia Yim coming over to Raw and doing some shit like that. Like, you could have gone in a myriad of different places just by adding those, but no, you add the tag team champions. And then in doing that, this was my issue with EO last year being in War Games. Why do you have champions who aren't defending their championships in matches that have nothing to do with their championships?
Yep.
That's dumb as
lazy booking,
fuck, bro.
Well,
like
we in hindsight, we know why EO was in that match, but like leading up to it, exactly.
I'm like, yo, what the like, come on. And then you had Io Shirai sitting there doing nothing. Nothing. Just imagine putting Doudrop and Io in this match instead of Tamina and Natalia.
You had 3 debuts on SmackDown over the last 2 weeks.
None of them were people that we wanted to see. None of them. The only good one that's actually paying off right now is Finn Balor, even though Finn Balor's just getting fed to Roman Reigns.
No. When I'm talking about on the women's side, you had Shotzi Blackheart, you had Tegan Knox, and you had Toni Storm all debuting over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
And the first two was dumb as hell.
And I'm taking one of them out of there just because I'm scared of her career as Tegan. I do not want her anywhere near that match right now. Right? Until I know
that's fair.
Until I know. But you still got Shotzi.
And Shotzi ain't no punk.
You had Toni Storm already pre-announced to debut. You had options.
You could have, again, if you plug in people in the matches, you could have just put Toni in. Toni's been through those tough type of matches.
That's what I'm saying.
And again, she's literally in there to take spots. Like, her bread and butter is her selling.
On top of that, from a logical standpoint, how did Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox debut? They beat the tag team champions.
So why was that not on the pre-show?
So you have a preset tag team championship match between the two.
You could have flipped the titles. You could have flipped the titles. Like, I get it. You want to give Tamina her due. I understand.
And don't forget,
this ain't working, bro.
And don't forget, you had to create that one because you broke up the previous tag team that they were feuding with.
Yep.
You broke it up overnight. So you had to create a new feud for them.
I think it's because Dana got pregnant, honestly. I think Dana's pregnant.
She's still working that fast?
Damn, her fiance got her pregnant that quick? Golly.
Based on one of the pictures that I saw on her Instagram, she's pregnant, and that's why they had the Aaliyah flip with her. That's why that happened.
With Mandy Rose? They dropped down Mandy Rose, and that's crazy. And
that's why that happened. And that's why it happened so fast.
Yeah, that's another discussion for another day, though. I mean, coming soon, we talk about the whole women's evolution, and there's a lot chatting there. That'll be coming soon.
This is going to be like part 3 of that one, though.
Yeah.
We already did like 2 parts on that.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's go. Let's get off this topic and just say the women's Money in the Bank was disastrous at the end. The ending was the worst. How does Nikki win?
I did not like that.
Scale over like 4 people.
I didn't like that.
What the nope, everybody's gonna see each other. Oh, we're gonna fight. And then one person
I did not like that
wins.
for a couple of reasons. All right.
Somebody could literally make themselves fall off the ladder to make her not win.
Number one, from a character standpoint, Nikki right now is your ultimate good guy in that match. All right. The way that she won, to me, is very heelish.
Some heel shit.
To me, it's very heelish that she won like that. Number two, from a logical standpoint, you had 7 people, including Nikki, on those ladders. All right. No one thought to stop her.
No one
the
thought
only one who legitimately could not stop her without taking themselves out was Liv, because she went right over Liv's back. And number 3, where the hell was Alexa Bliss?
They buried her under those. Yeah, they buried her.
That was exactly where she was.
I'm saying that's the dumbest shit. They buried her under those ladders.
That's the Big Show spot.
I was waiting for a payoff.
Exactly. That's the problem. Where's the payoff? I knew where she was. I knew she was under the ladders. I knew that's the Big Show spot and all that other stuff. But you're talking about a character, regardless of how her size looks or how you care about her antics or whatever, is the monster in the match. There needed to be something to come from that.
Yep.
And if there wasn't something that came from that in that match, there needed to be something coming out of it following that match. And there was nothing, because she went right back to feuding with Eva and Doudrop.
Yep. If anything, it should have been Nikki won. Oh my God, Nikki. Alexa shows up on the screen.
Either that or Natalya started it. She's the one that started the whole beatdown on the whole burial of Alexa at that point. Why isn't Natalya and Tamina getting taken out like Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax were?
And why isn't Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax breaking up, but they break up with fucking Reginald? That shit is dumb.
I don't know.
Like, you have Reginald and Nia, that could have been a new Chyna and Eddie.
And now he's a 24/7 champion.
Now he's 24/7.
Like, and everybody loves him now.
Everybody liked him before because he can do all the. He's the only person that can do everything that Ricochet can do.
Not named Ricochet.
I think the only thing I have not seen Ricochet do is like back handsprings. And I've seen Reginald do it a lot. But I'm sure
he can do it.
You had him do. The man did a full-on barrel roll front flip over the top rope. It straight onto the ground, landed it, walked up the ramp, and said, "Try that." To me, that is still the most gangster spot I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this man literally flew and said, "Try me." Like, that is the definition of
I get you.
Like,
but
bro,
I'm just like,
and that's what I mean. Like, oh, I want that Ricochet back. But then I know why that Ricochet was so good, and the guy who made him good got fired because he liked to send pictures to little boys and girls. But still, still unsubstantiated at this point, I will say. But like, come on, man, y'all killing me.
Moving on.
I'm just like, there should have been so much more done with that.
Yeah, there was so much that left you wanting on that. You know, it's annoying because it was a potential for that.
Especially because if you look at who the producers were, like, come on, like, bro, Tyson, really?
Let me ask y'all one question before we go on to the next thing, because I know Paul is itching to get to the next to get off this one. Is it just me, or did it feel like we had been through the first 2 acts of that match and we were still waiting for the end when the end happened?
Yeah.
It felt like there was supposed to be more to that.
Oh, yeah. Because like I said, like, okay, Alexa got buried. All right, cool. And then, like, I see the girls all walking up the ladder, all 6 of them. I'm like, all right, what's next? What's going to happen? And I see Nikki grab up and grab the thing. I'm the briefcase. I'm like, that's it?
That's what I'm sitting up here. I'm thinking that there's going to be like moves off the ladders and stuff like that. Like, this seemed like there was supposed to be more. Yeah. I didn't see no table spots. I'm like,
and here's the thing,
waiting for something else.
They got almost around the same time as the men. They got 15
Mhm.
minutes and 45 seconds. The men got 17 minutes and 40 seconds. So you can't say it was a rushed job. They just got 2 minutes less. You know what I'm saying? So again, it goes back to what was going on. What was the thinking on this one? Was it because the women were a little too afraid? Like, and that's
I feel
okay.
like that's what it was.
And that's okay, because like, you know, saying it's like we're saying, it's like, to do this ladder match, it's different. It's not like a regular match. It's different.
Yeah, you gotta be a little crazy to do these matches.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's different. Like the women that can do it, yo, they can do it. But if you can't do it, just man up. Like, what was that one time? It was Asuka. I forgot what match it was, and it was a spot. I think they would put it through the table or something. She's like, "Oh hell no!" She just rolled out off the table or off the ladder or something like that. It was her, Becky, and Charlotte, and she rolled off because she was not taking that spot.
That sounds like TLC.
I think it might have been. I can't remember. I was laughing.
If it was those three, that sounds like TLC 2018.
I was laughing my ass off because I was like, "Yo, it's okay, girl." Like, I'd be scared shitless too. Laying on a ladder with somebody coming down. Woo! Every time somebody go through the ladder and it breaks, I'm like, I know it was meant to break, but that still hurts though.
Not to mention half the ladder spots that they have, like the fact that Kevin Owens took that spot and then the shit broke. I'm like, yo, thank God that shit broke.
Let's go.
If that had a recoil.
No. Wait. We'll get to it. Let's go to this tag team match. Let's tag team match. Hold on. Let's tag team match. AJ and Amos versus the Viking Raiders.
I'm so sick of this, bro.
I did not care about this match. The match was okay. I didn't care about this match outside of the assisted Hurricane Rana out of the ring. That was one of the best moves I have ever seen.
Like, I get it. They're trying to put like new talent around it. AJ's trying to help out new talent. But bro, when you signed Omos, we all said like, bro, he's not gonna last long. Because the time of like the giants that aren't athletic, that can't move, that time is dead and gone.
It's done, man. You can't.
It's done.
It's a good act. It's a good act, but I'd rather see a Braun, or I hate to say it, but like a Brock when he cares. When you got these big dudes that they can actually move fast and do all this stuff.
Again, they put Omos. They literally have just booked Omos in like the worst way. They started off as AJ's bodyguard. The look doesn't fit. The chemistry is building, but Omos 100% looks like he belongs in the Hurt Business.
Yeah, that would be a better fit for him. To be honest, you're right.
And just the style in which they beat up people, he looks like he belongs in the Hurt Business.
I'm gonna say, for as far as Omos goes, character wise, I love him.
He's hilarious.
I have one. And I hated when I heard it, and my heart sank. They said he was Giant Gonzalez without the ugly suit.
Yes.
And I'm like, he is, and that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Because his personality makes me really want to like him.
Yeah. He's kind of goofy. He's kind of quirky. He's kind of weird, but then he also looks really mean. But the problem is one, there's not a lot he can do from a taking move standpoint. Like no one can physically lift him. That's the first thing. And it would never look right if they did, because they got rid of basically any big guy that could.
Anybody who's going to interact with him. Because I can tell you, Drew and Lashley both could do it.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm saying he would never be in that stratosphere to do that. But also, it just feels like him and AJ just feel like a very odd pairing to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
And then you turn around and you put the titles on them, because I guess if AJ Styles has a title, people pay attention, when in reality they don't. The interesting part about AJ Styles is that he's making the Viking Raiders look really, really good. And I guess they're rebuilding the Viking Raiders in that way. But it's kind of the same thing with Omos and the New Day. It's like you can only do but so much before it's just like, all right, how long are we going to do this now? Like, how long are we going to do this dance? Like, what's the payoff here? Like, are they going to win the titles? Are they not going to win the titles? If they're not going to win the titles, who's going to win the titles?
I think the setup is obvious. It's RK Bro, which is why I was just like, I went into this as soon as I saw that the match was going to be AJ and Omos versus the War Raiders. I'm like, there's no point in really getting invested in this because you know what
No.
the outcome is going to be.
I don't. RK Bro's not getting that title about anytime soon. I heard that
And that's the thing.
I heard Randy's like on like a injury hiatus, stuff like that.
Randy just asked for time off because he's Randy Orton. He just gets what he wants. So,
well, all I know is that he's on the inactive list. I don't know what the cause is. They're not going to talk about what the cause is.
I heard it was like some kind of injury. That's what I heard.
He probably was just nicked up over time. Honestly, he's getting older.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like, after a certain point, like, you know, taking all those bumps, you need time off. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Just to look at what he's been through over the last year. Just going back to last WrestleMania. He went through, you know, the last man standing match with Edge. He had a Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre. He's been through, I don't know, that Inferno match with the Fiend.
The Fiend.
And then on top of that, you know, he's got the what the heck else did he do? He did two into the Royal Rumble as well, and something else.
Don't forget, it was 3 matches. It was 3 matches with Edge.
Yeah,
it was
like one of them, granted, pre-taped, but
still though.
Yeah. You're talking about them going through that. One of those matches was the match that Edge tore his bicep and why he was out for so long. But even then,
last one,
he's like Randy's been through some stuff over this last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I can understand it if he wanted some time off. It's the same thing with Sasha Banks. It's like we ain't seen Sasha since WrestleMania.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything physically wrong with her. I just think she needed some time off.
I don't know, man. She might be recording a new season of the Mandalorian or something else. I heard she's getting calls now too.
Oh no, it's not the Mandalorian. I don't think she's going back to the Mandalorian. I think it's something else.
Oh no?
Hey,
okay.
More power to her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mojo's and Snake Eyes, so let's go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was after he got fired. That was the crazy part.
No. Apparently they shot that before.
Yeah.
Don't forget that was shot before he got let go.
Okay.
Yeah. So moving on to Bobby Lashley decimating Kofi Kingston. This match was only like 7 minutes long.
Yep.
But it felt longer though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was supposed to.
But I like that though, because the fact that like it made you feel like it was long. I was like, oh, end this match. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, it was only 7 minutes. It just felt like it was longer than that.
Can you just? I was just looking like, man, leave Kofi alone, damn it.
That's the thing. That's the whole idea of it. And that's why, as much as I love Kofi Kingston, I love the fact that they did this because that match was specifically set up to make you feel uncomfortable. It's just when we did our predictions and everything in our preview for Money in the Bank, one of the things that I brought up is the way Lashley cut his last promo made him seem so unhinged that he felt more dangerous. And that came across in the match. And to be completely honest with you,
he's fighting Goldberg.
To be completely honest with you,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that in the Monday Night Raw thing.
I hope he tears Goldberg apart. Legit. The way Goldberg beat Lesnar in his return, I need to see that from Lashley.
Yep.
I mean, this one.
If you can make me sympathize for Goldberg, then hey, you did your job. There's no sympathy for me.
I'll give. I also want to shout out the Kofi's ring gear designer. I can't remember his name off the back of my head right now, but golly, that Skeletor outfit
all the time.
That Skeletor outfit was.
That was tough.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, Skeletor. I saw that junk quick.
New Day is always, and I mean always, on point with a whole bunch of different stuff. Number one, their ring gear, their AR stuff is probably the best of anything in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's friggin' New Day. So they're, character-wise, they're always on point. So,
but I mean, too, I love how this planted a seed for, because as soon as you've seen how bad that match was, I'm like, bro, if Big E wins, I feel like that's what everybody thought. It's like, yo,
that's why I was just like, Big E absolutely has to win.
We about to call that cousin that moved away for a little bit. Like, bro, watch. I'm calling my cousin. He gonna whip your ass. Watch what I tell you.
Yo, I legit, I felt it when Big E came out, I was just like, Debo needs to come back to the block.
Mm-hmm. Debo
needs to come back to the block.
Yo,
and I don't want him to. The thing is, I don't even want him to come back goofy. Like, I want them to have that moment where Lashley says something to him, and Lashley says something to the New Day, and like the back, you just see Big E show up. It was like, oh, you thought we was done?
Nah. I don't want it in the back. I want it in the crowd. I want the crowd to pop for him. Here's the thing.
There's no way for Lashley and the New Day to interact in the ring at the same time after what happened. None of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense for the New Day to come out.
Xavier Woods. Then you pretty much at that point you have Bobby just decimated Kofi at Money in the Bank, and then he was I want my loss. I want my loss back. I want to recoup my loss to Xavier Woods. Get out here, Woods. I want this fight now. Was like, all right, cool, I got you. And he just obliterates Woods and just the same thing did to Kofi. And Biggie comes out. He's like, no, you're not gonna do that to my brother like that. And then that's what
I wouldn't even. The thing is, because he did what he did to Xavier Woods at New Day at Hell in a Cell, I don't necessarily need to see another match with them. I would love for him to call out Xavier Woods, and then Big E show up instead of Xavier Woods.
I got a reason for it right here. Just going by WWE logic, what happened the last time Lashley and Xavier Woods were in the ring together?
Woods won. That's what I'm saying.
Which means going by WWE logic, Woods is owed a WWE title match because he pinned the champion.
Right?
So you got your setup right there. Like you're building towards Goldberg right now or whatever, but the New Day outside of commercials isn't on TV. So after SummerSlam, when Goldberg is kayfabe dead, like that's why I said kayfabe. Like after SummerSlam, what do you have next? Whatever the September pay-per-view is, and then you got an opportunity to have them set up.
Survivor Series?
No, it's November.
Nah, it's November. SummerSlam is next one.
Right after SummerSlam, you got whatever pay-per-view that is, because they seem to be moving the calendar around and stuff.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I don't even want to look at it. It's supposed to be Extreme Rules.
It's supposed to be Clash of Champions or Extreme Rules. Clash of Champions is the October, there's the September one. But if they're moving stuff around, it could be anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like we could say Extreme Rules. Next thing you know, it's like something else. Like it's what should we call it? Payback or something. You know what I'm saying? They're funny like that this year with their pay-per-views. Can't get a pulse on it right now.
You got the opportunity to set it up, and then you could, since the move is going to be in October anyway, as far as the draft is going to be in October anyway, you can set that up for that.
So far, right now, the next three pay-per-views are the next three things are
Extreme Rules,
SummerSlam in August, Takeover the day afterwards, and then Extreme Rules.
Well, Extreme Rules and then Clash of Champions.
So they're doing Clash in October.
Yeah, November is Crown Jewel.
Well, they don't have it on. I don't see it here, a date for it yet. So that's what I'm saying. Clash of Champions.
I'm looking on the website.
It might be there.
Website. Yeah, it's there.
Oh, they put it up there? No, Crown Jewel, of course. Crown Jewel needs to happen.
And then they saying that Survivor Series is November 21st.
Okay. Yeah, so they got to build something up for that one because that's the one everybody wants to see next, and that should be more like, I don't know. It can't be Clash of Champions. Maybe towards Survivor Series. Maybe I don't know.
That's funny.
It's gonna be crazy.
I don't know. The draft is at the beginning of October, so
yeah.
they're either gonna move him in or he's just gonna come over using the briefcase.
Yeah. Because again, now we've only seen him on SmackDown in ring gear. I'm like, bro, if we're really gonna do this and do this the right way, he's got to show up in regular clothes, in them sweatpants and that super tight T-shirt to Raw, just looking around like,
Either that, or have him just You remember how right before the Fiend showed up, they started having a little puppet show up in the background?
I want them to have like really a unicorn.
Yeah, well, no, not even that. just in the background of somebody's interview, you see Big E's whole set back there with the foot massager and the little refrigerator.
Or like during somebody's promo, you just say yeah in the back, like what? It's like, oh, we seem to be having technical difficulties in the back. I'm sorry. Especially like in the middle of like a Lashley promo, you'd say yeah.
All right, going to the next one. The one that it irked me. It really irked me. It was a great match. Is the ending was just is Ripley and Charlotte.
I don't know about great.
It was a good match. It was a great match.
It was all right. It wasn't terrible by any means, but everybody I'm like, oh my god, this was incredible. I'm like,
it started off a little low, but it picked up after a certain point. Because I was like, really? Come on, girls.
I mean, they actually let them wrestle, but my thing is this was the first time they actually let Rhea get in some real offense.
No. Correct that statement. This is the first time Charlotte actually sold for somebody.
Fair.
Betty knows. Betty he's laughing because he knows it's true. He knows it's true.
Like I said, I'm not. I hate doing it because I feel like if like you get a real avid Charlotte fan watching us, it's gonna immediately turn them off to the content. And I don't want to ever actually do that, but just look at her. I say it all the time. The woman can take a tactical nuke to the face, get back up, and big boot the nuke. And I can't stand it. I cannot stand that.
Jay, what are you doing, Jay? You really think we give a damn about alienating somebody? What the hell's the name of this podcast?
I'm just
goddamn about making y'all feeling.
I'm just saying
what your feelings is like. We all know
I'm just saying.
Stop that. Stop.
I'm just saying.
Stop that.
Stop. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this match, and aside from that, the crowd, because of the fact that you have Becky Lynch being the biggest troll in the industry right now.
That was beautiful. That was a lovely setup.
Because you have
everybody for days,
right? Not even days. She's been doing it for months.
Yeah,
because you remember she did this back at WrestleMania.
Didn't she do it at Royal Rumble too?
I don't think she was ready by Royal Rumble,
but I think she like threw something off. I'm not sure. Might be me, but yeah, she did it at WrestleMania.
She did it at WrestleMania. Like I knew she was like she had put it out there around that time. And everybody's thinking like this is going to be the time. This is going to be the time. Hell, I was thinking this is going to be the time because I think this is going to be the setup for SummerSlam, right? The crowd themselves started shitting all over this match right from the start. And I can't do nothing but give the two of them all the credit in the world. One to Charlotte for flipping everybody off and probably getting herself in trouble for it.
That was great.
Yeah.
Because that was great.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
It's Charlotte,
that's what they want.
It's Charlotte.
That's what they want. That's what they want, yo.
I get you, but at the same time, remember Fred Durst got kicked out for that. And he wasn't even employed.
Yeah, but it's Fred Durst, bro.
That's what I'm like.
I'm like, they pulled them away from the equivalent of a CM Punk chant to "This is awesome" over the course of that match.
That's what I'm saying.
I have not. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. I don't know what they did to spark my interest, but I have not been that into a Charlotte Flair match.
Sold.
I have not been into a Charlotte Flair match like that since her and Sasha were going at it back in 2016.
Because she sold. It made you actually believe that, oh shit, Charlotte could actually lose. They could actually be putting Rhea over. Oh my God, there could be a change.
Which I thought was going to happen until the ending.
Like when she hit that supernatural selection and Rhea kicked out. I was
was just like, yo, are we in NXT, bro?
That's how I was like, yo, for real?
Wait. I was like, wait, hold on.
She did that to Ashley?
Hold on. Hold on.
Ashley, you okay? Are you
I'm
okay?
like,
Ashley?
yo, what the like?
And I gotta give
think,
Charlotte credit. The reaction towards it, she sold it really well when she
yes,
kicked out of it.
I think
We have
the
to give her
other
credit.
thing, I think the other thing that was selling me on this one is I didn't see as much, Queen Charlotte as I saw manic. I have to win this match by any means, Charlotte.
The Charlotte that had Dana Brooke as a protege, the Charlotte that everybody actually got behind.
Right.
Not
Like
this whole,
it was.
I'm the queen, I deserve everything. Not this fake pseudo face Charlotte.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was just like, yo, that right there, unhinged Charlotte is one of the things that I've always wanted to see from her.
Mm-hmm.
Not this always in control, always cool, calm, and collected. I know I don't like that because number one, we already got that in Roman Reigns. I don't need any more of that. All right.
Like, I love the fact when she does that whole, like, she loses it. She's like, it's me. I just, when she starts going like that, it's like, okay, now you got me. Like, give me more of that. Like,
you started fishing. You got the line wrapped around my wrist, and I'm going towards you at this point.
Like, okay,
I
cool,
got you.
Cool. Like, I want her to get so, like, the thing that made everybody buy into the man of Becky Lynch wasn't that she started to act tough. It was the fact she started doing shit that literally just showed she did not give a fuck about what anybody thought. I'm gonna break this person's spirit. And she started doing stuff where it was damn near heelish, but you loved it because it's like Becky's been so nice for so long. Charlotte's bread and butter is when she's almost insane because she's so obsessed with winning that, like, she starts to do really sick things to like if I could get her in a match with Nikki and she just completely like just starts doing like the Randy Orton, like putting like the screwdriver in her ear, equivalent to that, and she's just like pulling at her face and like trying to rip her face off, and then just like looking like manic and smiling almost. And it was like, is this what you want? Huh? Is this it? Like, if she starts doing shit like that, then it's like, all right, cool. Now you got me. Like, now this is the shit I want to watch. The shit she been doing, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you want to look like Cruella. I don't care if you want to look like the Queen of Hearts. I don't care, bro. I don't care that you think that you're a queen. I don't care that you have an issue with people thinking that you're entitled. So what? Use it. And I think she's finally just starting to use it. And I'm like, all right, cool. I just need you to sell. Sell? Right. We're good. Like, I just need you to act like something hurts you. When there's a character that's invincible, that is the quickest way to have somebody get turned on. And I hate when they do it with baby faces, because that's exactly what they did with Drew.
Cena.
And then when he was at the height, instead of it making him look vulnerable, they never did that. They literally just went from he's indestructible to he lost to this guy.
Yep. Out
of nowhere for the title. Oh, and then he's gonna chase because, oh, I made a mistake. I'm human. No. Now no. And now he keeps getting it back, and it's like, oh, now he's always in the picture. Blah blah blah. Now I'm like, now I just don't like you because we know you've been faking it this whole time. Like, sorry, no. And he didn't even lose on like, oh, I have a major injury that's stopping me from kicking out. He straight up just lost clean to Randy. And it's like, it's the equivalent to the Karrion Kross thing, where I'm just like,
we'll get to that under.
We'll definitely get to that.
Yeah, that's another issue.
However, like I stated beforehand, when we went into this match, like I said with the Charlotte thing, all right, I knew, or rather, I was predicting how they were going to handle this situation. And we were talking about it beforehand. It's from my point of view, just to make sure we got this on the, the whole recorded side of it. 2 reasons to give Charlotte the title. 1, you're setting up the Becky feud, leading into SummerSlam, which is not happening at this point. Or 2, you wanted Nikki to cash in, which is what she did. And you didn't want her to cash in on Rhea, right? My issue going forward, aside from the fact that you have Charlotte with another 1-day title reign, which means it's another meaningless reign, meaning it's another padded reign, is, do you plan on having Nikki beat Charlotte again? Because Oh, they are, of course, Raw's tomorrow, so we don't know exactly where this thing is going to go right this second. But you can imagine that unless you have a triple threat going on at SummerSlam with Rhea and Charlotte being in the match is going to be Charlotte versus Nikki. Do you have Nikki, or do you, the way they did that, do you book Nikki to be that strong that she goes over on Charlotte one-on-one right this second? Like, not down the line when she's not almost a superhero, when she is one. And I don't have an answer for that.
Well, it's because this is Nikki's own design, so there's no way to leak what the trajectory of this character is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. There's no end game. It's like the New Day. There's no end game. It's just to get over. So you can have it be almost a superhero, but are you going to have Nikki be fully acknowledged as a superhero at some point, like Hurricane, like Mighty Molly?
I was gonna say that it's a whole repeat of that, a retread of that in Nikki's own way.
And that's why I said before we started that Nikki has a be-all and end-all. Her be-all and end-all is Alexa. The question is, if she becomes the superhero, though she's no longer almost one, is her, I want to say, the line that she needs to cross, bringing Alexa back? Is it
so it's like
saving
almost,
the friend
it's almost
that
as
she
if it's basically like Batman and the Joker kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I see it.
Which way are you going to go? Is Alexa going to be the foil? Because as far as I know, Alexa's a face right now.
Yeah, because of merch.
So where are we going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, although, like, the way they've done Alexa over her career, she's basically the Big Show of the women's division, where she's had so many heel and face turns that it's just ridiculous, and I've lost count. But
I mean, again, the best way for me, the only way I think to really turn her heel is to bring back the Fiend and to have the Fiend like re-indoctrinate her to a point where it's like this new character that she has just completely goes dark and she turns damn near Sister Abigail. And Nikki tries to get her back.
I got another question for y'all. And this is a question that honestly irks me right now. Where's the Blood Princess at?
True. What the hell happened to this Black Blood Princess shit? That shit was fire.
Where did that go?
Like, that was a one-off, and then next thing you know, she's, I have a doll, my doll is crazy, la 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 la.
And it's I don't get it. That's the only other thing that I could think of is if they have her start to flip, and I don't want them to do that. I want Alexa to just be an unhinged character rather than have her back and forth between Alexa and whatever this Blood Princess thing is. That you have honestly too much of that with what's going on right now. Like, he's not on TV, but you got the Fiend with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. If they were wrestling as two separate people, you had, or I don't know exactly how you're attacking this Finn Balor thing. Like, is Balor just the Prince, or is the Demon still a thing?
I don't know, because the Prince always seems to wear black, and they got this man looking like a fucking blue highlighter. Like, he dead looks like the Blue Power Ranger right now.
He does. But that's main roster WWE nonsense.
I was waiting for him to do the point two, and then he did the second one. I was like, oh, we going back to this shit.
Just with the Prince he did it after the match.
I'm like, oh, come on. We're going back to Smiley Finn. Damn it.
I don't know.
I was so happy to have the Prince back.
This
is why, all right, he
this is why I hate some of the main roster stuff, man. They NXT does things well for their guys and their women, and then they go to the main roster and it's just like a whole different animal. It's just like getting buried, and we'll go back to it when we get to the Raw over review. Let's go to the men's Money in the Bank.
Well,
we here.
I missed half this match.
Well, this is what I'll tell you. What I did was I rewinded back to get to the entrances to watch the entire match completely uninterrupted, no glitches, damn, it was a hell of a match.
Can we get some love for Kevin Owens in the building?
Can we get some love for Kevin Owens? Can we get some love for Ricochet?
Woo!
John Morrison
off the ladder.
John Morrison.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, John Morrison, that Starship Pain, that sideways shit. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I've missed that. The part that I actually caught back up on was right around the time where Jinder and his boys came out and jumped Drew.
That was that.
We called that. We called that. You got to get him out because.
Thank you.
Because you cannot legitimately. Okay. Let me see if I can try and explain this from my viewpoint. You have a bunch of guys, no disrespect to Kevin Owens, but you have a bunch of guys who are at this level right here, and then you have Drew McIntyre, who's like off the damn screen at the moment. All right. That was way too much of a separation of position. It's like going out there and you having a Money in the Bank match, and you got, a bunch of mid-carders in the Attitude Era and The Rock is in it.
Yeah. Can't do it.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's not like...
You got to take them out.
It's like,
and you got to make it believable.
What exactly are you doing? And they set it up, the weeks leading up to it where, Drew destroyed Jinder's bike and everything like that after, the whole sword incident and all of the craziness. And it seems like granted, it's not a feud that I'm really looking forward to because I honestly don't care anymore. But you had to get him out. And you had to get him out in a way that you weren't going to Alexa Bliss him.
Right.
And you weren't just going to have him lose. There had to be some way to get him out of involvement altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably, in my opinion, the best way to do it.
That was, and it came, the pacing of it was so perfect.
It came at the right time. It didn't come too early.
That's key. Like that time, like they let him get the spots in. You let him get a couple of rubs in for a couple of other guys in the match. You let him have his little spots and whatever. And it never directly looked like Drew was going to win. But it's like, okay, this is a really good, like, even Money in the Bank. And then, bam. Like, just when it was like, oh, Drew now has an opening. Bam. Took him right out. And I'm like, okay, so everyone else is dead.
The best spot of that match had to be the time when Ricochet was on the ladder.
Yep.
And they went to push off the ladder.
And Riddle went to push him off.
He landed. He literally landed on the rope and took off. Bro, it's a flip. Rope. It's not like it's that big of a target to land on.
Right.
My man landed on the rope and front flipped into the crowd of the wrestlers. And he hit that like nothing.
You know what I love that they
like
did
nothing. I'm like, bro, you make that
look
like
no, but they didn't do that stupid camera view where you watch them all fake, be hurt and dizzy and puddle to make it look fake. And I hate that they do that with the women all the time. And I think it's because the women take too fucking long. So they end up like doing it when they were trying to catch the person like flipping off the thing, but they always end up catching the women doing this. Like they're about to swag surf at a party.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like, it was, and I think that was like where Ricochet just completely got out of, like that was his spot, and then he was just gone from the match.
I know he recoiled somebody, but I think that was before.
No, there was another move that he got caught. I was like, golly, he got super kicked or something.
No, he got the pop-up powerbomb because I remember he did the thing and he did the. I was like, oh, that was beautiful. Because he's about to get stunned, he reversed the stunner and then got pushed. Then he did the whole like, oh shit, I gotta catch the rope, like, boom, and just got caught on his neck. I was like, Jesus, he's dead. He's
bro,
dead.
I don't know. Yeah, that was that part. And then there was a part where like Kevin Owens went through the. There was two parts when Kevin Owens got hit hard. I was like, bro, you still alive? I'm then the second one who threw the light. I'm like,
and then it glitched because the thing, my stream glitched when it happened. So I'm like, yo, did he land like on the top of his neck?
Bro.
I'm like, bro, he got murdered.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. When they fixed it, I rewinded. I watched it clean the whole entire match. I wanted to watch it clean. And then when they put him to that ladder, I was like, Kevin, can you do me a favor? Can you wiggle your toes, please? Wiggle your toes, please.
Like,
He's
And
still
the fact
alive.
that
You know
they
what that
went to
reminded
him.
me of? You know what that reminded me of? It's again, it's not the same move or whatever. But do you remember EO versus Candice? The ladder match that they had,
And Candace
where
fell off the
Candice went
ladder. And she
off the
fell.
ladder through the
Yeah.
other ladder.
Yup.
Good God.
Yup. I thought that was the end of Candace's career. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Candace ain't no punk. Bro.
No.
Candace ain't no bitch. Like Candace is
EO,
a real G.
Shotzi,
Like I'm
Ember.
like, bro, that's who we need in the Money in the Bank matches.
Those
That's
two
who
spots.
we need. We need
Those
some
two
real
spots
dudes that's willing to put it on the line real quick.
Legit left me with my jaw on the floor.
I didn't even give a fuck who won the match at that point. I was like, yo, is she good?
I still get fuck who won the match.
I didn't care at that. I was like, yo, is she good, bro? Like, oh.
I'm just talking like when Kevin went through that ladder, I was just like, oh my God. Because you're talking about like there's always this idea that's floating around from like your older heads in the IWC that your NXT or your indie stars do too much or they do too much dangerous stuff. So I'm looking at Kevin Owens take this bump and I'm like, oh my God, all I'm going to hear for the next week is how much or how stupid it was for them to do this. You know, I was going to sit up here and the first thing I was going to see popping up on, my YouTube feed is Jim Cornette being a jackass about this and all kinds of other stuff. But man, listen, him and Ricochet, MVPs.
Of that match, for sure. For sure.
Wait, who is this? I want to put John Morrison in there too as well.
Here's my thing with John Morrison. He had a couple of good spots, but at the same time, he never felt like to me that he belonged in this match. This felt like it should have been The Miz, but they didn't. They needed a way for The Miz to show up, but they're trying to give John Morrison a little bit of rub. But it's like they've goofed him up so much from being Johnny Nitro and Johnny Mundo to where he looked like a world champion coming back. To now, it's just like, yeah, that stupid Johnny drip. That shit is annoying. Like, bro, stop. Like, he's always been goofy, but this is too much. Like, this, I'm just like, I want somebody to powerbomb you, like, off the fucking Titantron so you can go away. I can't. The thing I can't stand more than anything is corny white dad figures. And that's what he feels like. He feels like he got somebody pregnant in high school and never graduated. Like, Jesus fuck, yo, stop.
But the biggest,
like, especially when you could have had fucking Keith Lee in this match, and you give us fucking John Morrison. I'm like, are you fucking shitting?
Or you could have added like Corbin in there and be like a way for him to kind of like, all right, I'm trying to redeem myself and get everything back. I lost the crown, but I got the Money in the Bank. It'll add more into his storyline, which one of the great storylines right now. That it's a long term and has me intrigued. This is a long term booking that we like. I just want to make sure it pays off at the end.
Once I heard Happy Corbin, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And the more I see it, the more I'm like, they're trying really hard to make me feel bad for Baron Corbin, and I don't. But I can see what they're doing. So where he's just gonna be this weirdly like hyper positive, like almost cult master Zen Buddhist type. Where he's just like, we all have to be happy. We can all do, like, he's gonna be almost like that fucking motivational speaker type.
He got the voice for it.
He does, and I'm like, you know what? I get it. And then he's growing back like his hair, where he can grow it back to be long again, even though it's a little like his hairline's like up here. Like I love what they're doing, but I just feel like again, he should have been in the Money in the Bank. Like John Morrison being in the Money in the Bank is the equivalent to Tamina and Natalya being in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, but
except he can actually do spots.
Yeah,
in a sense, yeah.
He was there for the spots with Ricochet, which he did.
Yeah, and I mean the Starship pain he had on Drew on the ladder, even though I feel like he missed it completely and just hit his elbow. But then I saw it from a different angle. I was like, he hit it, but Drew kind of undersold it. So I'm like, that's like the only spot in the match. I'm like,
I like that move.
Weird. It just felt weird in that spot.
Yeah.
But again, I was looking for him to do like the springboard leg backflip and shit. He didn't do none of that. That's what I think with John Morrison, is that he didn't do any of the shit I was expecting him to do. So it was just like, we already have one dude who's doing all the flippy shit. We didn't need two if you weren't going to do the flippy shit. Like, you did like one or two flippy moves and then you were gone. I'm like, why are you here? Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing here? I would have even preferred for them to bring back Dominik Dijakovic and fucking put him in this match. Something.
I'm trying to think who he would have replaced. He would have had to have replaced Drew.
No, you want to keep Drew there because
John Morrison.
Yeah, you want to keep Drew in there because the way they did it.
Spot.
Yeah,
you need that
did it
spot.
very good. He did it good. Plus the fact you want to like keep adding him in there and take him out like they did. I'll give WWE credit when it's due, and he did a good spot on that one where they put Drew in there and they wrote him off the whole picture completely.
Like they completely took him out of the title picture.
Yeah, and I like the way they did it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't argue with it. It was a good way they did it. That's how you're supposed to do it. I'm saying no arguments for me on there. Like we always say, we'll give them credit when they do something right, but when they don't, we're gonna come after.
We're gonna give them hell.
Yeah. So we all loved the ending. I was there, like just like I saw him climbing.
Let me pause you.
No.
Let me pause you because yes, I love the ending. However, two things like really messed with me at this. Like, one, for the love of God, Biggie, please change your finisher.
Yeah.
Change your finisher, because when I saw him pick Seth Rollins up, I'm like, oh God, no. He's going to separate his shoulder.
Woo! And even the fact that he hit it and then got right back up, I was like,
that was the other thing.
No, he hit him. He hurt himself. He hurt himself.
Yeah.
When he hit the big ending off of the ladder, I'm like, somebody's gonna run up and grab this briefcase while he's still on the ground.
That's the only thing I was like, yo, this just cost
if you pay attention to after the match, if you saw, he couldn't lift that one arm up.
Yeah, nah, he fucked that.
Yeah.
He at least got a stinger in his shoulder.
Yeah, because at one point he couldn't handle the pain no more, so he was like, and it's okay because that shit was hurt. You saw him like that left arm just stood down below. Like he was moving it. So
my whole thing was I kept yelling, Big E, get off the ladder, because your man's legs was going like this. I'm like, get the fuck off the ladder, Big E.
Yo,
get the fuck
Seth
off
sold
the
that
ladder.
good. He was like,
woo,
he like
did.
convulsion. I was like, damn, bro.
That I had to watch it back to see it though, because I didn't see it the first time. When I seen him hit it the second time, he started doing the seizure thing. I've never laughed so hard at.
I saw it right away. I was watching it with my boy, and I was like, yo, E, yo, L, he's selling that shit. Look, he's twitching. He's like, yo, he is. I was like, yo, bro, but that, like, when he hit that, and I was like, you climbed that ladder.
I was low key looking. I thought that they were gonna give that spot to Rico.
That part
to take the big ending
for Rico to take like a second finisher and oversell it. I'm happy they gave it to Seth.
Me too,
because it also like it gives you it gives you story for why he went after Edge, because literally he was that close.
Yeah,
he was right there. And then it goes back to, it's not Big E's fault. I shouldn't have been here in the first place. It's Edge's fault, because I shouldn't have even been in this fucking match. And then like those little bits of storytelling, I'm like, see, this is when we like Rollins. This is when we like when we
and
have
the creative
those moments.
Team.
Yes, when you give us those moments that there is so much texture in those moments and in the story, and there are multiple storylines that don't directly correlate, but directly kind of
define details
into each other. Like it's the little things, and then it's the ring psychology where you get to fill in the blanks of the stories, but they're still telling you. It's like, yes, this is what we like about wrestling. This other shit that y'all doing, stop that shit. Like, I don't know what the other shit that y'all keep doing, especially with the women in the tag teams. Stop that shit. Like, y'all know what to do. Y'all know how to do the shit. Why the fuck it only works for like 5 people at a time, I will never understand.
Yeah.
But every other wrestling company could do it for multiple
for their entire
tiers, like for the whole fucking roster. Yeah. Other companies can do it. Hell, AEW is I don't even watch the fucking show because I just can't deal with the commentary. Like the fact that nothing in the spots ever feel big for me. Like it feels like it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a monotone show to me for some reason. Like AEW just feels monotone, but that's just me. But the fact that they can tell a story and it be so different for every division has to, and then they keep adding people to all of these divisions. Like you can call them WWE rejects if you want, but every time they've added someone, it's made sense. And that person has gotten significant recognition out of it. Like there hasn't been a bust.
Career
like everyone's reinvented their career.
Yeah, thank you.
In some way, shape, or form. And it's like, yeah, like I'm gonna give WWE credit. Yes, this time, this match, this segment knocked it out the park. The main event knocked it out the park. The rest, there are clear things that you could have done differently to make it better. And it's not a lot. Well, the women, it's just put different women in that aren't scared of heights or ladders or injuries. But like the rest of it, it's little things. It's little things. And it's like, this is the first time I can say they didn't royally fuck up, but the things that they did fuck up in really left a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. Benny, what was that second thing?
No, the second thing was me worried about, somebody actually climbing the ladder and taking the Money in the Bank before Big E got up from doing the big ending. Because I thought that move I thought him doing the move was actually just going to take him out of the finish.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, no, we need to set stuff up. And I need.
Well, that's the thing too. He also has a Uranagi that he just doesn't use anymore. Imagine he would have caught Seth with a fucking Uranagi and just lifted him and just dropped. Like that shit would have been like you would have had Seth try to catch him like a flying knee, and then he just caught him midair. Uranagi. Just that would have murdered Seth. Like you'd have just seen Seth just in the back, just folded, just
like that just made my whole back tingle.
Because that literally would have gave you that reaction of like your whole body just shook, just God,
I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. But
or
yeah,
like I was waiting for him to like Uranagi somebody through a ladder or something, just straight up catch him, just
yeah.
But see, that's why I miss Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe would have did some shit like that.
Yeah, we all had Biggie winning one player or another. What's that?
He'll be back soon.
He got cleared. He got cleared.
He got cleared.
Yeah, choke him out.
Yeah, he got cleared.
Let's fuck. I was waiting for the news to see if he got cleared or not.
Yeah, he finally got cleared.
Oh, let's fuck. Oh,
yeah. So the ending was great on this men's ladder match. This is the finish that we wanted, the winner that we wanted. So let's proceed to the final, the main event, Reigns and Edge. I mean,
it was predictable, but it was good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I knew I called the spots during the match, but I still enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know what? They furthered they kept everything linear. Like this wasn't an incredible match, but they didn't fuck anything up.
No.
So it's like I give them a B+. Because it's not amazing, but you didn't fuck up what you set up. Like it's sad to say, but it's like I'll give you a B just because you didn't fuck this up. Granted, I was expecting a curve stomp, not a super kick, but I can live with that. But even like the kick, you don't even see Seth use super kicks that much anymore. But he kicked the shit out of Edge.
I think he would have hurt Roman. Legitimately hurt Roman had he tried to do the curb stomp.
But see, that's the thing. I thought it was going to be a super kick into the curb stomp. Like he was going to super kick him, wait, and then curb stomp him. Instead of just a super kick and a walk away.
I thought you were saying like super kick him while he had him in the crossface.
That's fucking
that would have been dangerous.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. But like, I'm looking at it like, yo, he just super kicked him and then walked away. And I'm like, so this isn't the finish. Cool. And then you seen like the finish happened, then the Usos came out. And I'm like, okay, they're still dragging this whole like Roman still hates Jimmy type shit. But whatever. And then Dominic and I was honestly expecting another tag team. I wasn't expecting Dominic and Ray. earlier that night.
I figured that was gonna happen either way.
Well, here's the thing: if you watch it, when the Usos come out, you see them right there.
Yeah, they're right behind them.
And right behind them. I'm like, it was great, but I'm like, yeah, I came out too early.
I like the subversion though. I like the subversion because basically it hasn't been happening as much recently, but I gave y'all a complaint, towards the end of the year, right around, I think it was around WrestleMania or a little before that, where I was just like, I'm getting a little tired of them doing the exact same Jey Uso interferes and helps Roman win finish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they give you the subversion of that where you see the Usos coming out and like, okay, here we go. But at the same time, here come the Mysterios. Mysterios even up the odds, they take the Usos out of it. And even though, again, all of us who actually listen to all of the other podcasts and things that are going on, we know that they're going towards Edge and Seth Rollins, on top of the fact that you have Rollins' promo prior to this match. You know that there's going to be something else. You know that Edge isn't going to come away with the victory. But there's that inkling of a doubt in your mind at this point now. It's like, wait a minute. The status quo just got taken out. So is it possible? Is Edge going to come away with this?
And then Seth runs back into the ring and gets big booted. Like, Dave, that was an old school big boot, too. That was like a test level big boot. I was like, damn, yo, you good, bro? Like, he kicked the shit out of him. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. And then as soon as they start fighting and after the match is over and Edge throws Seth over and they're going into the crowd.
That whole segment was awkward as fuck.
I was like, something's going down.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as they kept fighting and then Roman got the mic and he was like acknowledging, I was like,
here we go.
I looked at my brother and was like, yo, it'd be funny if John Cena came back tonight. And then his music hit. My brother looked at me and was like, how the fuck did you know that? I'm like, yo, I swear to God that was a guess because I know that they had announced him for the SmackDown. After. They had announced him for the SmackDown after. But I'm like, that'd be funny if they just introduced him now.
The pop. But, and he got the pop.
Yeah, he got the pop. Like, they got the job done. The only thing and the shit that continues to bug the fuck out of me with these shows is you get to the end, and then you'll have a little moment, but it's never anything substantial, and it goes off. And then you have to hear on WWE.com what the fuck happened after it. I'm like,
right.
You gotta stop doing this. You gotta stop doing this.
To a point, I kind of get what they were doing. You gave the fans John Cena you gave the fans in attendance John Cena, right? You don't want the fans in attendance to just get John Cena coming out and then leaving. So you give them, quote unquote, their own personal John Cena welcome back promo or whatever. The return for everybody else is the hook for Raw, where it's just like, oh, John Cena's going to be open in Raw. So, okay, if we want our promo, now we got to tune in to Raw to try and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get it, but
he hits you with a knick-knack paddywhack promo, too. And I'm like, that's why I said Roman's promo was so on point that it was one of those where I'm like, it's about time, Roman. Like, it's like you see the cycle continuing. So it was like, first it was The Rock and Cena, now it's Cena and Roman. And it's like they all just become different versions of each other.
And I like this part of it because it's better than when they first went at it.
Yes. It's like now you get the rematch, but now you get Roman being so much better. And John's now the one at the disadvantage because he is the movie star. He is the guy that quote unquote left the industry behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Paul Heyman earlier when he was singing, that was classic. I was like,
but see, that's why I miss Paul Heyman not being on Talking Smack. Because I'm like, now that all this shit's starting to fall into place, now I want all those people that he prophesied to come back, and I want to see what Paul Heyman has to say. Because like now I want to see what he has to say to Big E. Like now I want that come to Jesus moment. Like this man Paul Heyman out here pulling a prophet like Kobe was. Like now, like it to me, it honestly feels like that segment was like the way Giannis has the Twitter chain with Kobe, where he was like, all right, now you want MVP, now go win a ring. That's kind of what it feels like with Big E. But I'm like, I already know it's not going to be the Universal title because of the plans for WrestleMania. So now it has to be the WWE title. But is it at WrestleMania? Because at this point, it can't really be at SummerSlam.
I don't think.
But is it going to be earlier? But then again, too, even if you look at it, there's no other place outside of SummerSlam to do it.
Right.
It's like SummerSlam, and then you have Royal Rumble.
Because I don't think they're gonna do it too long, because you gotta remember, he's got movies and shows to promote. So I think they only have
I'm talking about for the Big E Bobby Lashley thing.
I was talking about Cena. Sorry, I was reading something else here. Sorry. Going back to Cena Roman, I think that's gonna be a short one. I don't know if it'll be long as everybody expects it. It is. Bobby and Big E, it's questionable where that's gonna go and when that's gonna happen.
Because I feel like that's a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, because for me, it's like to pull that one out to WrestleMania makes sense. But there's also the fuck uppery of what do you do with your Royal Rumble winner? Because either now The Rock has to win the Royal Rumble.
That's what I was about to say.
Or someone else has to win and it becomes a triple threat match, which ruins the whole story. Unless like the person who wins is Kofi.
Well, here's the thing with the Royal Rumble. In order to bring the Rock, you have to have. You can't announce it.
They already did.
Are they serious? They did.
It's already done. It's already done.
The Rock's been announced for
Survivor Series because it's a 25-year anniversary of.
I'm talking about Royal Rumble. Like you want some of these people on a DL.
You don't know jack shit about Royal Rumble yet, but I'm saying.
I know, but I'm saying like you want, because if you give out that he's going to be in the Rumble, and you're building this whole feud, or you're trying to build this feud, you're kind of giving it away a little bit. So by keeping him like quiet and in the Rumble, and you're like, oh well, he might not win. It's just get him back, whatever. But you also bring like Cena and like Goldberg. You pop up other names, just to kind of like bring the old guys in. Like, oh yeah, just bring the old guys to get some pop. So you hide the fact that you're actually gonna push Rock to win the Rumble to start the feud with Roman for Mania. You get what I'm saying?
And I get that. Here's my problem with that. The last time The Rock did a DDT, tore bicep. I mean, he tore pec.
No, I get it.
So, knowing that, I do not want to put The Rock in a Royal Rumble match. I don't. Because I feel like putting him in any match before the match you want him at WrestleMania. They're even talking about turning that match into a tag match. To protect The Rock. Like, that's how concerned they are about The Rock getting hurt.
Damn.
That's my point.
And it's the
biggest thing for me,
the movie studios. I don't think it's WWE. I think it's movie studios. I think they're like, sure. we'll give The Rock up. We'll push this recording and filming back, but on a precedent, the man is protected and does not get hurt.
Right.
And WWE can only do so much though to protect him.
Right. And I think too, the biggest thing with The Rock, it plays almost perfectly to the Jimmy Uso thing, because you can almost kind of tell that Jimmy Uso is going to be the one to bring him back. And it's going to be that whole battle for the tribal chief shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you already know what the story, like, you can already kind of see the breadcrumbs for the storyline. The only thing that does for me is like, all right, are they going to still be tag champions? Are they going to lose the tag titles, and that's what's gonna cause it? Are they going to then have Roman Reigns win, obviously, do the whole tribal chief thing, but then break up the bloodline? Like, what are they going to do with that? Because now they're doing so much shit with the Usos that it's like, are they going to let the Usos be a real tag team again? Or like what? Like, what are we doing with them?
Yeah.
It's definitely a strange thing that's going on with that. But I do want to shout out a couple of things before we move on to Raw. First and foremost,
I think we're already into Raw.
like I mean, completely moving into Raw.
No, we're not into Raw yet. We ain't talking about that. I'm pissed.
The first thing I want to shout out is the promo that they did in the back with the Usos and Roman, because they're already showing Jimmy is just playing. He's not on board with this at all.
No. If you saw, like, I noticed it too. If you saw the promo when they hugged, he was like, he had like that, like he like rolled his eyes and a bit like, ugh.
Even the whole like, he was like, "Oh yeah, I acknowledge you, Ooze, blah blah." He was like, "Oh yeah, I acknowledge you too, big Ooze."
That's what I'm talking about. Like, yo, what are you up to?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, what the fuck you on, bro?
I see you. What are you up to? So I'm sitting up here. I got to shout that out. And I know we didn't been over this match. We did on that thing for like the entire first half of this. But I need to, regardless of whether we can call it me being biased as hell or not, I need to shout out Liv Morgan for being the Shelton Benjamin of that match. Because she was pulling off some bullshit.
You can tell she put the work in. She put the work in to get better as a wrestler, and she's constantly getting better. And I think too, you see what they did with Bronson Reed and NXT, how they had them do that banging ass ladder match. And you thought he was gonna win, and everybody thought he was gonna win, and then he didn't win, and it didn't pay off for like another 6 months before he got back into the. I think that's what they're doing with Liv. It's like, all right, this is your benchmark. This is your measuring stick. Where are you? All right, cool. You did great. You got the crowd behind you, but you're not ready yet.
Here is like, I don't have a table near me, but this is me banging the table right now. Liv Morgan for Royal Rumble winner.
That's big. That's big. If they do that, I swear to God, they better have Ruby and Sarah in the front row. I swear to everything, they better have Ruby and Sarah in the front row. They're not going to do it, but if they're not in the front row, I'm pissed.
Yeah,
you know what they'll do? They'll put Stephanie out there though in front of them.
Yeah, some bullshit like that.
Yeah. But all right, going into Raw now. Raw had its moments where I was like, okay, this is okay. I got it. And now I'm just like,
Raw felt like watching somebody shoot a puppy. Like, oh, the puppy's cute. Bow. What the fuck are you doing?
The worst thing they did, and they just ruined themselves for the future, and they don't realize this, is how they did Karrion Kross. I just want to get that out there because that's pretty much the main the elephant in the room with Raw.
I thought that was the elephant in the room with NXT. I didn't know that was the elephant in the room with Raw. The elephant in the room with Raw was how they did fucking Keith Lee. That's the elephant in the room.
Well, that's another one, but the reason this one is because you pretty much showed that you brought up the NXT champion. Fact that he didn't have Scarlett. Fact that you just crapped out, copy and pasted the entrance bit with no effects and like to the bare minimum. And then he loses in 20 seconds to Jeff Hardy, who hasn't won a match in how long now?
Oh, and it's now out because he tested positive for COVID. That came out today. I was gonna mention it.
Who, Kross?
Jeff
Hardy.
Oh, I was gonna say.
So now Karrion Kross is take tests for the next like few days or so, just make sure he's okay. But you just shit on the NXT champion and everybody. The man cleared out the division. You had Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, I forgot who else.
Kyle O'Reilly.
We're like,
Finn Balor.
We just put
Balor
this man.
In the match?
He did put him over though. He put him over. These are guys that put him over. They're like, we put this man over just so you can bury him in 20 seconds the way you did.
And send the message that NXT is very much a developmental brand. That's how they look at them internally. And because they lost the Wednesday Night Wars.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the fact that you think that way is you're gonna have trouble signing people. You already have people like not signing with them because it's WWE. I remember, like I told you guys before, what's his name? I think it was his name Rush. Rush went to Andrade. Hey, should I sign with NXT and WWE? He was like, nope, stay away, brother. Go somewhere else. And I forgot where he signed, and he left. He didn't even sign with them. You got a lot of Rush.
Oh, I don't remember where he
Mexican wrestler. He's
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like this with Andrade. I forgot where he signed, but he went to Andrade. Like, how did your experience? How's everything going? And he was like, nope. This is way before he got cut. This is way before. he was still on the main roster. He was like,
Now,
nah,
to
go
be
somewhere
fair,
else.
to
Go
be
somewhere
fair,
else.
that might have been Andrade protecting, his relationship, because if Charlotte got with one Latino, there might have been a situation where another one could have stolen her
You
from
wrong
her.
for that.
I'm
Nah.
You wrong for that. You know you wrong for that.
That's wrong. But yeah, they don't realize, but they just buried NXT and anybody in the future trying to sign with them and having to go to NXT knowing that, like, bro, you're pretty much gonna be shitted on because you go to NXT. Even though NXT, to be honest, is the better product of all the WWE right
Oh, of
now.
course it is.
Between Raw, SmackDown, NXT is the better one of all of them. And there was no reason to do that to Karrion Kross. No reason whatsoever. You could have had him lose by a DQ. Make somebody come in, maybe like Gargano, somebody wants to fight with him, cost him that match.
Even then,
still make him lose.
If you wanted to give him a loss, there was a different way to go about it. Him sitting up here getting rolled up and looking like an idiot, that's not the way to go about
in
it.
20 seconds, bro. In 20 seconds.
They went longer than that. It was like, it just felt like it was 20 seconds just because all of us are so pissed.
You're probably right. I don't know.
Not even to mention, you already messed him up from jump before the match even started.
Right, because you stripped
You
all the way.
gave him generic number 7 theme song. You stripped away Charlotte. You stripped away everything that made Karrion Kross. Then you buried him.
Here's the thing. He still has his music. It's just the whole presentation is different. Like, again, I don't like plugging other people's crap, but go look at the thing that Steve did from Steven Larson. All right, I posted that junk in the room. The entire breakdown, because I can't do it justice exactly the differences in the presentation between his NXT debut and his WWE debut. But the way that Steve broke this thing down, it night and day isn't enough to say that there's a difference. It was that bad how much they stripped back, everything that he had. And what they don't understand is all of that is a part of the package. He's already pretty much a fish out of water in NXT because of the fact that NXT is the most wrestling brand of WWE. And he is not as good a in-ring performer as everybody else on NXT. On top of the fact that Karrion Kross, I believe, I was listening to something this morning. Karrion Kross has one loss on NXT. It was in a tag match that he was not involved in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Other than that, he's destroyed everybody he's been in the ring with. They call him two-time NXT champion, but that's only because of the fact that he got hurt after he separated his shoulder like 3 seconds into the match with Keith Lee. And that match went 25 minutes. So we're sitting up here and you're looking at a guy who basically ran a division or ran a part of your company that is so based in the in-ring. You put him on the main roster and you immediately strip everything away from him that made him special. The entire presentation, all of it, because you don't want. Maybe you wanted to say, all right, is he just the entrance? You find that out on main event. You don't find that out on Raw. You took all of this presentation away from him, and then you have him lose to the most bullshit of the bullshit roll-ups. You gave him the kick out on the Swanton. Or rather, or did he? I don't even know if I know he hit the twist of fate. I don't remember if he hit the Swanton. No, he missed it. But he basically no-sold the twist of fate. If he went down and wasn't there for the Swanton, he moved out of the way. So you're showing that he's at least strong, but he's incompetent because he got rolled up by the most basic of all basic roll-ups. Like, he got schoolboyed with the feet on the ropes. And you think that that's supposed to... No, get out of here. That's not protecting him. He's still a dork.
a doofus, and him showing up at NXT the next night proved
getting
it.
the Hardy chance.
Where they had to retape the segment.
Yep.
I'm like, y'all, do you not understand what you just did? You just buried all of NXT.
And they did it on purpose.
In 2 minutes.
And they did it on purpose.
It's because of Vince's pettiness.
And
he wanted to prove that he wanted to put everybody back in their place.
I don't understand that. You were already fighting an uphill battle, right? Mm-hmm. And for the people that are coming out saying, let it play out, what's the point of letting it play out? You've already seen what this is going to do. Because I can guarantee you the next time Cross and Hardy are on the screen together, Cross is going to kill him, but the damage is already done.
Yeah, no, it's not going to matter what he does.
Nope. There is no wait and see. You buried the champ. You buried
the champ with the belt. And for those who were coming out also in defense of this, saying, oh, well, the first time Charlotte Flair came up, she lost to Natalya when she was NXT Women's Champion. Completely different situation. First of all, her last name's Flair. Second of all, she's in a division far smaller than the men's division. Third, when she came up, NXT was not what NXT is now. NXT was a niche network program at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, NXT is on national television. And you just told national television that your national television show ain't shit.
Yep. Worthless.
Even though it's better than the other two.
Exactly.
Worthless. And it's like, and again, too, I heard somebody say, well, Hardy's a multiple-time former world champion.
I don't give a damn.
When has he wrestled like a world champion?
I don't
care.
That was like the last time he won the title was like 10 years ago.
I brought up main event a second ago. Hardy's last match before he faced off against Karrion Kross, he lost to Jinder Mahal's boy.
They put him in like a jobber now. He's like a jobber now.
Yo, dude lost. That's Indashare, right? The two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't those the two that tweeted out the Keith Lee thing?
No. The one that tweeted out the Keith Lee is gone.
All right.
Yeah, it's one from Indashare and another one. It was one from Indashare and the other one's completely different. They need to repackage them completely just to clean it up, to be honest. But go ahead.
Either way, before they got into this position that they're in right now, that's what they were known for being associated with. What is that? So you got your Hall of Famer, your former WWE champion, your former World Heavyweight champion, sitting up here losing to that, and then you think that that's going to be like, it's cool if he's losing that and then pinning your NXT champion the next time he's on TV? Get out of here. Like, seriously, I need people to understand. Just because of the fact that we're sitting up here and we're upset about this doesn't mean like, oh, well, we just hate the product. No, we wouldn't be talking about it if we hated the product. People like us, we're just not meatheads that are sitting up here and just sit up here and accept everything that's thrown at us. I need something a little better to stimulate my mind, bro.
Make it make sense.
I need something that makes some type of sense.
Make it make sense, because it don't make sense.
Bro, you had this guy clear out a whole division. We're sitting here, who's next? He goes up, he loses to freaking Jeff Hardy.
Right, Jeff Hardy's next now.
Like, if you were gonna have him win, bro, if you wanted to honestly have him win and return a guy and have the guy not be, I guess, hot, you could have literally had him debut and return Keith Lee. And then have him choke out Keith Lee. Wouldn't have been great either, but at least there's some continuity there.
I got even better. Jeff Hardy came back with no more words. That's something that everybody who was a Jeff Hardy fan around that time had been waiting for. Jeff himself had been waiting for that. They got the huge baby face pop, everything when that song started playing. I'm listening to it, and it didn't click immediately when it came on, because I'm up here thinking like, okay, yeah, stop. Wait, hold up. I hear word. Hold up. This is, okay, we've been waiting for this. Let's go. This is it. The way you turn that around is you have Karrion Kross literally kill him. If you want him to take a loss, then have him get DQ'd for killing him.
Right.
Yeah. Have him not break the chokehold. The no more silence.
Yeah.
Like,
That way you keep Cross strong, you get him major heat, and you make your product look good because this is your NXT champion.
Mm-hmm.
This is the guy. This is the monster who is holding the title belt to all of the rest of these guys down here, these technical masters that are right down there just waiting to break through and get on the main roster. And these are the people who you are going to be looking forward to.
Yeah, this is your future. So
I don't understand how you could have screwed this up.
Oh, Petty
And
Vince,
yet
bro.
they managed it.
Petty
because
Vince.
it came out. It came out that this was Vince's way of telling those guys, you are a developmental brand. Like, you guys are not the big leagues. Stop looking at yourself that way. Stop looking at NXT that way, because at the end of the day, no matter what happens on NXT, they still are at the bottom of the totem pole when they come here. And I'm gonna have them lose to one of the biggest jobber.
I don't understand from a business standpoint why you would ever do that though.
It's just
Because
being
it's not
petty.
business, it's ego.
Yeah, it's Vince, bro.
Would the owner of Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury, would they come out and be like, you know what? These Lincolns, they are amazing. Don't even bother with that Ford shit.
My man, look at what Jeff Bezos just did. That's a different kind of megalomaniac. Jeff Bezos really said, everyone who works for Amazon and everyone who bought Amazon, you made this possible for me to go to space. When everybody knows he doesn't even let people pee.
Yeah, I know.
So you got to be a different kind of megalomaniac.
I don't understand it. Like maybe once you get to a certain point in your financial wealth that you just legitimately go insane. It's just like
that's what it is.
Switch flips or something like that. I don't know.
Something just happens where you truly just you stop giving a fuck to a point where you're willing to sabotage yourself and bet on the fact that sabotage won't fuck you up.
I don't understand it, yo. I really don't.
It's a different animal, brother. It's a different animal. That's all I can say. Before we go into the whole Keith Lee thing, anything else we want to talk about from Raw? Because I don't know anything else about Raw right now. I want to go.
There was only a couple of things that actually
I can't even get over it.
Oh wait, sorry. Rhea Ripley in the Charlotte in that rematch.
That was stupid.
That made no sense. It's like I said, but like I said before we recorded, you could have gotten all this done correctly if you had done it with them fighting, and then you get Becky in there, knocks out both. You can have her knock out Charlotte after she puts Rhea in the what's that move? Charlotte's move that Rhea kicked out of.
The figure eight.
No, the one she kicked out of. The natural selection.
Oh, the natural selection.
So at least this way you still keep natural selection a little strong, because Rhea's a kick out. Becky just interferes, like, nah, and it starts that feud with that. That's how you start that feud up. But then after Becky knocks out Charlotte, Nikki Ash comes in and makes it a three-way match, kind of like Rollins did in Brock and Roman, and she pins Charlotte to stay face and not turn anything. So at that point, you keep Rhea strong because she lost her belt, but she didn't get pinned. You build the feud for Charlotte and Becky because Becky cost Charlotte the match, and 3, you put that belt on Nikki after she cashes it in. The only thing I don't like about it is you cash it in so early. Now you have your get out of jail free card gone for a whole year.
You make the assumption that Becky is cleared. That is your first assumption. You make the assumption that Becky's cleared.
We're all making the assumption because she keeps trolling everybody.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm like, listen, as far as I'm concerned, until I see her, she's not cleared. That's why I don't factor her into anything. My whole thing is she could have made an appearance without actually getting in the ring. That was my biggest thing. But I think they're saving her appearance for SummerSlam.
Could be. You might be right. But I mean, this is annoying because of the fact that now you just added more numbers to Charlotte's count, and then you go ahead and remove some of the numbers out of there. Like there was a report
because you want to consider NXT a developmental brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it was. I'm like, you played yourself because not only did you bury an entire show, but you made stuff harder for yourself, knowing that now, instead of having her be at like 15, 16, 13, now you got to go back to 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, for what though? For what?
It's annoying.
I don't know.
It's bullshit, and I feel bad for the women because you pretty much had Rhea done. Was that last year at WrestleMania? Now it was already a dumb idea. Now it's even worse when you do what you just did.
Yep.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no thinking. It's just all ego right now for Vince, because this is all Vince was calling, and this is gonna bite him in the ass later on when trying to sign talent, and they'll be like, "Why am I going to XT for? Either I go to main, either I go main roster, or I don't go at all."
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing they did with Tia Valkyrie. Now they have her as Frankie Monet. Now they have to try and rebuild her, and it's like, it looks really, really strange. That's all I can tell you. It looks really strange.
Oh yeah, that was a bad idea, but that's all. We all know what that was for. About they want more money off the merch.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Keith Lee. Why he hasn't been on TV, because he is the one. He's in that fight for his naming rights.
And I think that's why he's trying to he's getting buried.
Of course.
And people are like,
oh yeah.
The thing that was the next thing that really pissed me off. I don't know what wrestling fans watch this, but if you are gonna sit up there and say, well, people who are saying that he got buried, they don't know the definition of buried, because buried means you have to lose multiple times. No, it doesn't. No.
Mm-mm. No.
Like, Karrion Kross got buried. Guys have gotten like, if it wasn't for Randy Orton being Randy Orton, when him losing to Jinder Mahal would have buried him. Like, bro, the fact that he came out and this man has put on great performance after great performance, and you have him essentially get no offense against Bobby Lashley, who he's faced before, who he has history with.
Wasn't MVP kind of sort of running away from Lashley defending the U.S. title against him before he disappeared? Because
he was so afraid that, and he was supposed to be the guy to take the title off of Bobby Lashley. For him to come back and not even have it be a situation where he looks a little ring rusty, but to flat out have him get bullied and mauled by Lashley to make Lashley look good is dumb.
On top of the fact that you basically had Corey kill him on commentary throughout the entire match.
And then for him to tweet after, and this is what got me, is the tweet he sent out after, basically saying, it's gonna be a long road, but don't give up on me, and force them to hear you. Which only tells me that he fully understands the bullshit that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to bury him and bury his name so that he'll give up his name to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially all he's doing. That's all that's happening. And he's just telling the fans to stick with him. Which, again, as a fan, I'm rocking with old boy. That's my dog. I'm rocking with him, regardless of how stupid they try to make things happen. But this is the type of petty shit that makes WWE not get the best quality of wrestlers. And it's going to be a situation where a lot more people are going to start to go to other brands and build those brands. Like, Zack Ryder just won a world title yesterday, and no one's talking about it.
Yep.
And got absolutely abused in the ring by the crowd because this man has so much heat on the indie scene. And I love it.
Oh, yeah. He's loving it too.
And, MLL is making I think it's MLM or some shit like that, is making a comeback. That indie version of WCW is making a comeback. It's just like, yo, there's so much that other wrestlers are now starting to do after seeing what Cody Rhodes did, that WWE essentially signed their own death warrant. Because at some point, the dream of WWE is going to fade. the more they keep screwing these people. And especially now that like other people, like Daniel Bryan just signed, or Bryan Danielson, whatever he's going to come out as, just signed for money that's the equivalent to what WWE was giving him with less dates.
Yep. And the
ability
door.
to do stuff with New Japan.
Yeah,
That's
and the ability to do New Japan. And they just had a New Japan championship match on AEW.
And here's the other thing. Was that Buddy Murphy is either in negotiating the contract or he's already signed the deal. One of the two. But his name has been linked with AEW already.
Yep. So
and,
it's like
and if you see any of his matches in 205 Live, that man put on some bangers on that match. And when they let him loose on the main roster, he put on some bangers as well. Yep. So he can wrestle. They just like lynchballed him for some reason. I don't know why. I think Vince had an issue with his accent. I'm like, bro, you need to get over it. You need to get over it because
you're losing out on great wrestlers because of accents.
No, for bullshit accents. You're not too tall.
You're too fat. You don't have the look.
Yeah, like bro, get over it. It's like the
blind.
80s. This is not the 80s, man. You don't need to. That era is done. I grew up on it. I liked it, but it's done. You have all these skilled wrestlers that can do so much more.
And they literally just need WWE to help them with character work.
Yeah,
that's it. WWE's bread and butter is characters. That's the one thing that gets them over any other promotion out there.
Yeah,
because outside of Darby Allin, there aren't a lot of characters.
No, everybody is like their own. They're like, I'm myself.
Yeah, they're their own different version of whatever they decide to come up with.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what Malachi Black comes out with because he's still fresh.
Well, Malachi Black has came out. He was like, "This is what I wanted Aleister Black to be."
Right, and I'm saying I'm waiting to see further. I don't want to prejudge it right now.
Right, I want to see if they're going to do what I think they're going to do, and then if they do what I think they're going to do, I might actually start watching AEW more. Yeah, just for that.
And Andrade seems like he's building his own faction in AEW.
He's basically building the LWO without calling it the LWO.
Right. What he wanted to do in WWE that they ain't letting him do. He's building it. And that if they build it like he wants it, it's gonna be the I think it's gonna be the Latino version of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah. Especially if it is who I think they're gonna get, because I think they just tried to get the Lucha Bros to flip this past episode.
They're working on it.
Okay, you got Andrade, you got Chavo now.
Well, Chavo is the mouthpiece because he's good against Selena. Right.
And then you get the Lucha Bros, and I'm like, yo, who else is it? There's got to be another guy in there somewhere.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if they bring somebody over because don't forget they got that open door with I think it's AAA or one of the Mexican leagues as well. Yeah, so
I think what's his face is the AAA champion.
Rush. No, Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega is a AAA champion.
All right, so let's go back to Raw. So yeah, that whole cluster with the whole Nikki Ash, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, you're tanking NXT call-ups and making the worst for them, not doing anything good for them. Padding stats for Charlotte again, even though you took away numbers, still it's just, what was the point? You literally buried Rhea Ripley again. For what? For what? You know?
I don't know. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, it just.
Yeah.
Ugh,
and then we go into the end of the show. Because I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
It really isn't.
It was the Keith Lee thing.
Yeah. Because then you got Bobby. And they tweeted, oh, yeah, there's a surprise from guys from Texas. I'm like, who's from Texas? I forgot Keith is from Texas.
Yeah.
So when I heard, I was like, oh, my gosh, I forgot he's from Texas. God. So I was like, all right, it should be a banger. And then I'm watching, I'm like, come on, bro. Are you serious? Y'all still hung up on that whole naming rights thing with this man? Let it be. Like, let it be. You're the only thing I can see about it is they really want to put this man over, and they know the merch he's gonna sell, and they want to get like they want to milk that merch for everything. And because he won't leave the naming rights, it's like they don't do it. So yeah, I don't like that. And
to re-debut Goldberg.
yeah,
who by the way, is only contracted to wrestle 2 matches a year.
Yep.
And he's already wrestled 1.
Yep.
So it's not like there's any chance that Goldberg is going to win this match.
Nope.
Like, oh, and came out in like the worst way possible. I'm next. I'm like, man, if you don't sit your old RPS, man, go somewhere.
That match,
you know what kills me too. Match. You know what kills me too. The idea behind the whole "you're next" thing is "you're next for me to destroy you." Why would he say "I'm next"? Unless he's legitimately telling the entire world that he's next to get destroyed.
He is, because remember, his matches don't last long. They're like 5 minutes. If that. And you can't, like, it was just annoying. That was dumb. I hate the way they did my man Keith Lee on that one. I really truly hate it. And I will have patience, but it's like we know what's going on.
I have zero.
But it's like
no.
Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid what they're gonna do is like he's not gonna budge, and they're gonna be like, you know what? Fuck that. You're getting repackaged. They're gonna repackage him because they can't use Keith Lee's name. They're gonna repackage him something else, some dumb shit.
But again, all of this is doing nothing but shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh, I know, because they're not thinking logically. They're not thinking wrestling mind. They're thinking more of the business aspect. But
it's not even that. From the business side, they're still shooting themselves in the foot, because you know what's going to happen is other wrestlers coming into the WWE are going to start to use this as an example. They're going to be like, you know what? If I'm planning on signing with this company, before I even think about going over there, I'm trademarking everything about myself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If it hasn't already. But this is why I say this is a business move. They're only thinking short term. They're short-sighted. They're thinking the money they can make if they own the rights to his name and his character when they push him to the moon. That's all. But they're not thinking, like you said, what's going to happen down the line with other wrestlers. Like, I'm trademarking everything. Oh no, I'm not coming if I don't have my name. Like AJ Styles, they wanted to bring him along and they wanted to change his name. He's like, nah, I have to come AJ Styles. He's like, no, we want to change your name. He was like, well, nope. it's gonna be funny because I have AJ tattooed right on my side.
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna explain that? They're like, damn. He's right. We can't. So he stayed as AJ Styles.
It's kind of hard at this point with the type of year that Keith Lee had on the main roster from the Survivor Series thing for you to repackage him. They'll do it and it won't work because people will come out and cheer Keith Lee.
Because of the fact that again, they're only considered about the money they can make with his merch when they push him to the moon. The sad part is they can push him to the moon, but depending on that character repackaging, he might not get much traction because then you got to change the name of his moves. Are you changing his move sets?
He took away some of his moves, and I'm tight, yo. I'm so mad.
I know.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time he used the fucking Grizzly Magnum? I'm so mad about that.
That was NXT. I don't think he's using it in the main roster.
Outside, I think he used that Survivor Series, but
yeah,
but that was when he was still on the NXT roster, though.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. When he was on the main roster, I don't think I've seen him use it. I don't think I've seen him use
He's actually never. He hasn't used the Big Bang Catastrophe either.
Shit.
Last time he used the Big Bang Catastrophe was when he beat Adam Cole.
Well, for what it's worth, I think that they might be scared away from that because the initials of it insinuate something.
I didn't think about that. you took it to places I wasn't even thinking about. Sir.
Dude, I'm the whole perv of the group. You know, I
Sir.
would have thought about that.
Sir.
Moving on to SmackDown because ain't nothing else to talk about Raw.
Sir.
SmackDown was a little entertaining. I'll give them that.
That was hilarious.
Paul Heyman walking out just humming off and making off like John Cena's intros was hilarious. I mean, dying. Joe sent me the thing because I wasn't watching it. I was
same here.
And then
that's the thing. I actually like watching SmackDown. It's just this one was a little more. Like I don't remember what went on SmackDown, and I watched it.
What's that? Roman's promos was good too.
Yes,
from what I gather,
the line about missionary. He's like, "Yo, John Cena been doing the same thing since 2005. It's like he does missionary every night and expects it to be good." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yo, I was dying when he said that.
My whole face was just like,
yeah, I'm like thinking, like, can somebody put a camera on Nikki Bella? I want to see her reaction on this one.
I'm like, bro, what you on, bro? Like, what are you on?
Benny, what are you gonna say?
You know, there are certain people that can get away with stuff. Roman is one of them.
Yeah, so now he is. Yeah,
I feel like John Cena was laughing his ass off when he heard that, though.
Yeah,
I feel like that popped John Cena.
Yeah,
like he was in the back dying. Like, okay, this is what we're doing. And I hope that this is leading to their SummerSlam match, him coming out as the Doctor of Thugonomics. I hope that that's what this is leading to. Because he keeps talking about the same old gimmick. I'm like, the only other gimmick he's ever had that was successful was the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Right.
And the last time we saw that was that fucking Bray Wyatt match.
Yeah.
Or no, when he came out, I forgot when he came out, but he came out and cut a promo as the Doctor of Thugonomics.
That was the WrestleMania before that.
Yeah. And he cut his hair, so maybe
he cut his hair because of the new movie, the new series.
That's what I was about to say. He like they wouldn't have let him do that otherwise.
That has everything to do with the next thing he's gonna do. That's the next character for his next movie.
Which character is this one?
They're starting a new I think it's a film or TV franchise. I forgot what it's called.
It's a movie franchise. From what I understand, it's supposed to be along the lines of another type of like a Oceans type thing. Yeah. Where it's supposed to be like some spy mess.
Okay.
Got it.
Or something.
Well, I'm still curious to see how they're gonna pull off John Cena being someone of Spanish descent, being related to Vin Diesel. Like that is the thing. Like I don't know how you pull that off in Fast and the Furious. Like Fast and Furious, you suspend your belief for a lot of things. But John Cena being Hispanic, I can't do.
I have not seen it myself. I can only go on what I've heard from other people.
Did the movie come out yet?
Yes.
Oh, it came out.
From what I've heard, it is
Fast 9.
Yeah. From what I've heard, it is very, very hard to buy into it just because it's John Cena.
There's a lot going on in that movie. I'm like.
At this point, it's just there for the entertainment, and I get it.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I tell people like, oh, another one. Like, okay, you have to watch it and just keep an open mind that this is like an '80s action flick that has. Like,
I just can't do it when literally the theme of Fast and Furious is a reggaeton song, and then he's supposed to be Dominic. He's supposed to be Dominic Toretto's little brother, and I'm like, wait.
I'll just say they did some work on that. So the storyline how to fix all that stuff. They did some work on that to fix it. Now
hey, you better be adopted or some shit.
You have to watch that part to see. And
it's got to be some shit like he's adopted or something.
Yeah,
or like his mom died and his mom and Dominic's mom were best friends or some shit like that. So she took him in.
But I like the way that they explain how he was no longer there either too. It makes sense. But then you go to the fact like, why was he never brought up? Why was nobody ever talk about him? That they never. I don't remember correctly. I don't think they.
Especially if Dom's all about family.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's like, you know, I won this belt because of family.
That's what I need to have.
Familia.
But going on, SmackDown had his moments. It was there. They were doing the whole thing with Falling Loud. I think it is over in Miami, that festival.
Yeah, they had a real WrestleMania 2 type vibe going on.
Yeah, I heard.
That shit was trash.
It's
bro.
hard to pull that off, bro. It's hard.
Trash. That crowd looked so fucking confused. The only time you heard the crowd was literally when Wale came out.
Yeah,
Street Profits came out. They were like,
because you probably only have you only have like maybe 1/8 of the crowd that probably knows who they are. The other crowd probably has no idea, like, who is that? What are they doing? Oh, we get is it these new artists coming out here? Who are these? Is Wale's posse or something? That's his group?
Not like, even to mention, Rolling Loud is literally just filled with a bunch of like Gen Z people who don't even keep up with the product.
That's what I'm saying.
What I get it, you were trying to expose a new crowd to the product, but at the end of the day, you do this after Cardi B shows up at SummerSlam, not before. They literally like the only exposure they would have had was Bad Bunny, and then you don't put up Damian Priest. You don't do nothing with the Miz and more. Like you don't do anything with anyone that was in that match. Most people literally went watched the Bad Bunny match and then went about their day. That was it. Like, come on, bro. Like that. Everything about that, the execution was terrible. The matches that they had were way too wrestling for those matches to even be anything. You don't have any of the excitement, none of the effects. You can barely even hear them bounce off the ring.
Mm-hmm.
They had nobody who can do spots, anything, because it was Angelo Dawkins and freaking Chad Gable. And then in the arena, they had a 6-man tag match that we actually wanted to see. So like they had the setup for a dark match on TV, had the dark match off TV, and then you come back. What in the actual nutsack?
I honestly don't think they're ever going to learn with that. Like you can't run 2 venues like that.
You can't, and especially if you're not going to have one be on dead time.
Even if it's on dead time, because that's what they did for WrestleMania 2. And they like in the times where one thing was going on at one spot or whatever, there was nothing going on in any other place. And it's just like the people that were there were just like, okay, what are we supposed to do now? Like,
pee break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't understand that. Like when I heard that they were doing it at 2 separate locations, I'm like, when are they ever going to learn?
Yeah.
The only time this made
it's not like if you're gonna do this, do it at fucking Comic-Con. Do it to a crowd that can actually buy into this type of entertainment.
I mean,
Rolling Loud is literally the worst place to do this.
I mean, didn't they learn from was it WrestleMania 2? Which WrestleMania was it? Was it 2 or 3?
That's what I'm saying. It was WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, and then also when they had the anniversary for Monday Night Raw, when they went off to separate locations, it was like it doesn't work because you have that second location where there's nothing going on. They're bored as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into this location where it's like they're there for a concert. They're not there for wrestling. Like you're not gonna get a pop because, like you guys said, it's a Gen Z crowd. These people probably don't even know what the hell wrestling is. They're probably thinking like MMA or maybe thinking like Greco-Roman wrestling from the Olympics. They see like, what the hell's going on here? You know, it was a bad idea. I get you're trying to get new eyes and focus, all that stuff, but not the way to go, man. Not the way to go.
And the thing about it is, you sent the people there that you would expect to get the biggest pop out of that demographic. You had the Street Profits and Bianca Belair there, and you still didn't get enough.
Yeah.
Then again, love Angelo Dawkins. He did not do any of the spots he usually does. So it was a very, very uneventful match. And then they had Bianca come out, and they didn't even have them like separate. It was just like the match was done. You had them playing to the crowd, and then Bianca's music plays. And then they were outside for Bianca's match.
I don't know, man.
It's bad. I mean, it was bad.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
This is one of the things that I have an issue with when it comes to people in a corporate mindset thinking, you know, they get the whole new and exciting thing in their mind. I hate when they start thinking like that because it's always all right. We gotta, think out like way outside the box to the point where it's just unnecessary in order to try and build interest in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Don't sit up here coming to me with a whole bunch of new and exciting when you don't even know what's actually working. Because that's the problem with your viewership isn't, oh, it's not just new and exciting. It's one, it's because you keep doing repetitive bullshit, and two, it's because of the fact that you got to sit up here and you don't like outside of I'm gonna say one and a half stories right now with the WWE. You really don't have too much of a sample size of competent continuity. And I'm saying that in Roman being that one and the half being Lashley. And I'm saying half because like you're so up and down with Lashley when it comes to stuff. It's just like, all right, we're on an uptick at the moment, but at any moment we could turn around and just completely fall off a cliff with him again.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much wrong. Just so much. Like the Rolling Loud thing was it was a giant swing and a giant miss. Like I'm sure a lot of people, as many people that were there, I don't even think half of them knew what
they were watching.
Yeah, what the fuck was this? I'm surprised they didn't start booing, but I think half of them probably high on something. So
you know what Rolling Loud was? Rolling Loud was Team USA this morning. I'm sorry, I had to pop Paul for a second.
Pop me.
Or rather, I had to get under Paul's skin for a second.
Hey, you ain't getting under my skin, bro. I knew this was gonna be a tough game. I knew they were gonna win this one. Check the chats. I'm like, yo, USA will be lucky if they win a medal in the Olympics on the basketball this year. Lucky. This squad is the worst squad they put in since using NBA players since the '92 Dream Team. And if you don't know,
they had to do that, bro.
France.
Listen,
Jay hasn't watched the game yet, and he's trying to watch it. But I'm gonna ruin something for you. France went on a 14-0 run to end the game at 83-76. You have that squad, and you lost because the other team went on a 14-0 run.
Let's go, Fever Frank. Fever Frank, undefeated. Let's get it.
Your highest scorer was Drew Holiday. No offense to Drew, but I mean, when you got KD on there, Dame Lillard, and Devin Booker on there, Drew Holiday shouldn't be a high scorer. He's not
KD. You got KD, you got Dame, you got Booker, you have Chris Middleton on the squad as well, who like at any point could pop off.
Mr. Inconsistent. Okay, so here's the thing. KD went 4 for 12, was in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls. He almost fouled out. Dame went 3 of 10, I think it was. And those 3 was 3-pointers that he made in a row in the first half. So basically, he much went cold second half. Drew Holiday went like 5 for 12, I think it was, something like that. I'm just like, bro, this is not good. You're playing Iran. You're going to win Iran. You're going to play Czech. You'll probably beat the Czech. So you either go as the second best team in that group, or if you lose to the Czech, you better hope and pray you are one of the top third best teams in the NBA in the men's basketball.
Bro, I'm half tempted to put $10 on Iran.
But let's digress and let's get back to this. The Money in the Bank changed a lot of things, and then there's a lot of the shows right now are like iffy because
they're very much in flux. They're in flux.
And it's annoying because of the fact that you're doing like if it was in flux before the draft, I would have been great. Because you're in flux in an influx before the draft will fix it all. But the fact that you're in influx before, like way before it, I'm worried. I'm scared. Especially when you already burnt the Money in the Bank for the women's title off the rip.
I mean, for what it's worth with the women's title, just the devil's advocate that for a second. The women's Money in the Bank has only ever gone past a single day one time, and that was with Carmella.
Why was she in the match?
That needs to change, huh?
I was going back. Like, why wasn't she in the match? I mean, she's she's like a Money in the Bank, like consistent. Like
because Bailey got hurt.
Even then, you could there was a bunch of other things you could have done.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Hold yourself for number one contenders match. Put somebody else in the thing. Like
they don't have enough people.
Yeah, you do.
Who was going to be in the number one contenders match?
I'll tell you right now. Like I said, you got 5 people that should have been in that match, or 3 or 4 people that should have been in that match in place of people that were in there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sit up here and have a placeholder for Bianca Belair? You got the perfect technical counterpart in Natalya. Throw her in that match because she need to be in Money in the Bank.
Nope.
Now I see you shaking your head, but why was the match wasn't even on Money in the Bank? It was on SmackDown.
That's true.
So if you're gonna waste a title match, waste it on somebody that's not gonna win the title. At this point, I can still logically see at some point Carmella being a women's champion again. I can't see it with Natalya.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with Carmella winning it again.
Not right now, I ain't.
Oh, no, not right now. Not right now. Like later on. Like later on. Like later on, like her getting another reign or two, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with her. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I mean, we'll see where things go. It's just like Jay said, this is an influx right now. It's just annoying right now. Any other closing shots you guys want to take before we end this podcast?
Liv Morgan for Royal Rumble winner.
Jay's like, no.
I second that.
I would like to see that.
I'd love for Liv Morgan to have a WrestleMania moment. Honestly,
she needs it.
I need something. And like I said, this may be looked at as bias. Honestly, at this point, I don't care. I'm looking at it as the fact that you have legitimately robbed this woman of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Give her something. You have taken both of her best friends off of TV and out of the company.
Yep.
You have sat up here and you have teased, and you allowed her to go on there and build a character that you had no intention of doing anything with. Even just going as far as filming vignettes and everything for her return, you did jack shit with it.
It made her a lesbian.
Yes.
And didn't even follow through with that.
Exactly. You sat up here and you made her the guinea pig for a joke that should have been a legitimate angle with somebody completely different. Like I said, call by anybody watch it, call bias if you want. I don't care. Come fight me. All right. Liv Morgan for Royal Rumble winner. She needs to not only win that shit, but she needs to win the championship at Mania too. I don't give a damn who's champion at that point.
I low-key want her to come back with the Riot Squad theme too.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us on another show, the Heel Heat, with this Money in the Bank SmackDown and Raw review. Till next time, catch you on the one.
Good, y'all.